Dana POV. Aries. I let out a moan, his name escaping my lips in a breathless whisper. I enjoy the way he touches me and the way he kisses me. He is causing me to feel a strong desire for more. I gaze at his face, which appears somewhat blurry, yet I am sure this is an authentic experience. He gently tucked my hair behind my ear, his touch sending a shiver down my spine. Then he leaned in and pressed his lips against my skin, leaving a lingering sensation that made my heart race. Dana. His warm breath tickled my ear as he whispered, causing a shiver to run down my spine. In response, I instinctively pulled him closer, wrapping my arms around him with an even tighter embrace. I cling desperately, my fingers refusing to release their grip. The sensation is delightful. I whimpered, my voice quivering with fear as a torrent of tears rose in my eyes, threatening to spill over. We shared a passionate kiss, our eyes closed. As my fingertips grazed his soft, flushed cheeks, his eyes spoke volumes, revealing a story that words could never capture. I groggily peeled open my heavy eyelids, the remnants of sleep clinging to my senses. As reality seeped in, I felt a jolt of disappointment course through me, realizing that the vivid world I had been immersed in was a fleeting dream. However, my disappointment was quickly overshadowed by a sudden cacophony that pierced the morning's tranquility, a chaotic symphony of sounds echoing from outside. Aries. He has returned. I can feel his presence as he returns to claim the throne that rightfully belongs to him, once held by his deceased father. I'm torn about my emotions, but an intense desire to collide with him consumes me. Today marks a momentous occasion as I celebrate my 18th birthday. On this very day, I am filled with anticipation and excitement, for I am determined to uncover the truth about Aries, who may potentially be my fated mate. My tantalizing dream loses all its allure without his presence. I don't want to waste any time. Damn it, I must hastily adorn myself with garments. I sprang out of bed, my heart racing as the remnants of my dream clung to my waking mind, blurring the line between fantasy and reality. I step out into the dwelling, my outfit carefully chosen and meticulously put together. As I step into the bustling main gathering hall, a wave of commotion washes over me, filling the air with a palpable energy. My heart quickens its rhythm, pounding in my chest as I catch a fleeting glimpse of Aries amidst the chaos. He's transformed into someone unrecognizable. He's become even more strikingly handsome now. He's towering above the crowd, commanding attention as he stands tall. Mate, I caught the faint whisper of my wolf. I can sense it coursing through my veins. I am enveloped by the intoxicating aroma of his presence, a scent that permeates my very being, drawing us inexorably closer, destined to be entwined. I never failed to be right. We are destined to be fated mates, bound together by an unbreakable cosmic connection. I hurriedly dashed towards his side, my voice barely a whisper as I spoke to myself. All eyes are fixed upon me. Mate, I let out a thunderous roar, unleashing the word with all the force of a raging storm. I yearned to convey my message to him, ensuring he understood. I eagerly embraced him, tears of pure joy streaming down my face, only to be met with a forceful kick from the beta. I stumble and plummet to the ground. My descent is swift and ungraceful. All eyes turn towards me, their gazes filled with pity and embarrassment. Aries. I tried to call him. I yearn for his eyes to meet mine, but instead, his icy stare is fixated solely on the sea of people before him. I am overwhelmed with a deep sense of embarrassment. Wait, so she's his mate? What a tragic fate for the Alpha to be bound to an Omega. I caught snippets of hushed conversations drifting through the air. Aries stood idly by, making no effort to lend a hand or offer any assistance. He couldn't care less. With a defiant glare, he boldly declared, "You're all wrong." I gaze at him, my eyes filled with longing, desperately yearning for his protective embrace, a shield against the piercing gazes of those who pass judgment without understanding. She's nothing more than an Omega, a feeble wolf, a fragile girl with no power, and she will never ever be worthy of being my Luna, he declared with an icy tone. His eyes slowly turned towards me, as if a spotlight had suddenly illuminated my presence. It's all coldness. I can sense a sharp pang of pain piercing through my heart. I, Aries Xander Hendricks, the fierce and commanding alpha of the Moonstone Pack, forcefully cast you aside, Dana TooLateToHaveHerBack, as my mate, he declared with a cold and unyielding voice. Dana POV. Why, Aries? I whispered. I desired for him to be honest with me. You cannot simply reject me without explaining, I added. I just told you the reason. Omega, you must come to terms with the reality and accept it. I cannot and will never be in a relationship with someone as weak as you, he declared. I intended for only him to hear those words, but he responded in a way that made me feel humiliated in front of everyone. That is correct. We should not get a Luna like her. She should just have left. She truly believes that she stands a chance, poor girl. The werewolves have begun to utter many harsh words in hushed tones. I feel as though I have just ruined the moment. He no longer looks at me the way he used to. Everything is cold. No, I muttered to myself. Aries, you're not like this before. I fixed my gaze upon him, conveying a profound message, as I departed from the crowd without acknowledging their approval. Tears stream down my face as I walk away from the crowd. I am unsure about the reason behind his rejection of me. It is causing me to feel sad. He is not like that. Aries cannot simply call me Omega. He promised to accept me for who I am, regardless of my position. There must be a reason for this. I refuse to give up in this manner. There is a commotion happening and people seem confused by my reaction. I am unable to believe it. I can't accept his rejection of my special day, I muttered. Dana, is there something bothering you? One of the Omegas asked me. You are causing a disturbance. You should have gracefully accepted his rejection instead of appearing desperate. You mean nothing to him anymore. How can you possibly expect more? I kindly request that everyone refrain from speaking. Aries must have a reason, and I will find out what it is. I interrupted abruptly, causing their words to cease, and they exchanged a perplexed glance. Aries loves me. Perhaps he is doing that for... He just humiliated your position. He expressed his viewpoint. He is our alpha, and we must show him respect. Dana, it's important to remember that he is no longer a teenager, so we shouldn't have high expectations for him to fulfill the promise he made when he was less mature. Despite their attempts to convince me with their words, I still desire closure. I am still interested in acquiring further information. I am unable to believe them. They are merely individuals who identify as Omegas and have an affinity for Aries. It is easy for them to discourage me. I whispered, Don't try to stop me. You are not aware of my relationship with Aries. I know him better than all of you do. I added, The moon is shining, and I wanted to talk to Aries. I desired closure. I was halted at the corner when I suddenly heard the sound of his footsteps accompanied by another person. I believe we must need an alliance, Aria, I heard the voice of an elder say. I understand, Aries stated coldly. He has undergone a significant transformation. His voice has a more masculine tone. We have only one option, which is to marry the daughter of another pack. I was wide-eyed when I heard that. It is causing me stress. He is my mate, and it is not fair for him to marry another woman after he promised to marry me. That is their strongest proposal, and it is also the most effective way to ensure the pack's safety. It is a double win, regardless. She is truly beneficial for you. We simply cannot allow the worst things to happen again. I heard Aries chuckle. I will consider it, he said eagerly. I closed my eyes and swiftly returned to my room, fearing I might have been discovered in the corner. I don't know what to feel about it, but I know I have to talk to Aries. Not at this time. It's not the best time, but I can't marry another woman he doesn't love for an alliance. He's not like that. He's smart. Finally, it's morning, and I believe it's the perfect time to converse with Aries. I hastily dressed and left my dwelling in search of Aries. However, I couldn't help but notice that people were emerging from their rooms and congregating. An announcement needs to be made. I can detect Aries' scent nearby. I caught sight of one of the Omegas. I hurried towards her. What is going on? I inquired. I'm not sure, but I know it pertains to the new Alpha. We need to go to the main gathering hall again, she responded, walking ahead. I let out a sigh of disappointment when I realized that I could not communicate with Aries. As I approached the main gathering hall, I noticed Aries standing beside me, but what shocked me even more was seeing a familiar girl. They're holding their hands. As I approached the location, I was taken aback to find Blair Van Everhart there, the person responsible for my parents' death. She is the cause of my anger. I can feel my anger igniting within me. She is Blair Van Everhart, the woman I have chosen to be with me and the woman I will always be with together. Aries' declaration has brought me to tears with every word he spoke. I would like to inform everyone that Blair, the daughter of the Alpha and Black River Pack, will be taking on the role of my Luna. Our wedding is scheduled to take place tomorrow, he announced. I feel a deep pain in my heart as I watch them engage in a passionate kiss, surrounded by a crowd of applauding people. Meanwhile, I am growing weaker from the emotional anguish. Dana POV. I had the impression that the last chapter of my life had been written. I don't understand why Aries would betray me in such a manner. It was a promise that he had given to me. What are the steps that he can take to change him? What was he thinking when he allowed the lady who was responsible for the killing of my parents to become his Luna? The fact that I am his mate means that we are destined to be together. A portion of the failure that occurred in this pack can be attributed to her very own pack. While I do not wish to exaggerate the gravity of the issue, I am unable to permit this to take place. Blair was the one who utterly ruined me. For everything, she is the engine that makes everything go. After making a hasty attempt to remove that from my memory, I hurriedly positioned myself in front of the entire throng. Astonishment engulfed me, and I felt my breath seizing in my chest. Suddenly, I became the focal point of their full attention. Aries, I made a yell. I can't help but feel uneasy as my mouth trembles and a sensation of betrayal floods over me. I can't help but feel like I'm being betrayed. What is she up to? When Blair looked at me, her voice was barely audible as she muttered, and a sly laugh escaped her lips as she made eye contact with me. It felt as though she was quietly evaluating my sartorial choices, even though her sense of style was unquestionably greater. If I could talk with Aries, I would be very grateful. Just permit me to do that. I increased my voice, and the air was filled with talk that was whispered. We need to talk about things, I murmured to him as I gazed at him with eyes that were filled with concern. As I whispered, it's about us. Honestly, I am really embarrassed by myself. He looks at me with a look that conveys a sense of confusion on his face. What are you referring to? In his question, he acted as if he had absolutely no prior experience with me. When he looked at me, it was enough to make my skin crawl. The sly grin that is playing on Blair's lips as she fixes her attention on me is accompanied by a firm clasp on her hand by him. On the sides of my cheeks, I chewed on something. Aries, I was under the impression that you loved me. How can you do this to me? Is it possible for you to pick any woman you desire, with all of the ladies available to you? Are you seriously going to choose to be with a woman who has damaged my existence? Hey, it's time for you to go. When the guard was attempting to take my hand, I protested by pushing them away with sufficient force. I took a look at the people in my immediate vicinity and conveyed my dissatisfaction in a hushed voice before turning my attention back to Aries. You can't let this happen. The person who caused me the most suffering was her, Aries. Since the beginning of time, you and I have been always mates. This is something that I cannot accept. How can you let this happen? I made a pause. I know that you were obligated to do this for the sake of an alliance, but you should rethink your judgment regarding this matter. It is important to watch what you say, Omega. To this day, I am unable to even identify you. Do you sincerely believe that puppy love can develop into something more genuine? It's funny. You should look past it. A shiver runs down my spine whenever I look into his piercing green eyes. It is imperative that you always treat Luna with the highest respect, since you are going against the grain. He characterized his words as being incisive and penetrating. The searing sting of agony causes Blair to let out a loud sigh as she experiences it. Martyr bitch. Repulsive Omega. When the security guard made another attempt to make physical contact with me, Blair stepped in and calmly said, "That's enough, everyone. I want to reassure you that I'm doing fine. On the other hand, I am certain that I can defend myself." Even though she was acting in a manner that was not genuine, Blair suddenly decided to commence a passionate kiss with Aries. I am unable to deal with this. Can you tell me that this is just a test? You need to stop being so naive. To be honest, I have no idea what it is that you are trying to say. I couldn't care less about you in the world. He interrupted me. I made an effort to remain motionless and think of something to say. Nevertheless, I was halted by a warrior. "That's it!" The hit was so powerful that I felt my strength dwindling. Despite this, I managed to muster the will to climb to my feet, only to have the beta administer an injection into the back of my neck. I was knocked down with such force that I felt my strength waning. As I make my way through the thronging crowd, I am surrounded by a sea of words and phrases. It is as if I am not visible, as if I am blending in perfectly with the existing background. "Have you seen Aries? A chat with him is something that I need to have." I called out to a stranger. She looked at the girl who was standing next to her with a sly grin on her face, making me confused. "You have no idea, do you? He left, and there is a persistent worry that he might not come back, which is unfortunate because it is anticipated that he will become the most powerful person in the entire world." "What are you talking about?" I asked. A nod of dissent was given by the woman. "He hasn't been seen since last night." While I was desperately searching for his presence, her comments came to a halt as I emerged from the pack house. Rumors were going about, and it appeared that they were accurate. Aries had left, and with that, I would no longer have the chance to talk to him. "Oh, Aries, my very own Aries. Aries!" I was startled awake and let out a piercing scream as I came to. It was only after I woke up that I understood that the experience was nothing more than a dream, although it was so lifelike. Now that I'm lying down on my bed, I'm not feeling too comfortable. My eyes got wide open when I saw Blair, leaning against my bed and mumbling, "Oh no," as I became aware of her presence. "Good morning, Dana, my new favorite pawn." Dana POV. What is this girl doing here? Her intense gaze unsettled me more than anything else. "Why don't you go ahead and ask her? She's the one who captures the affection of our mate." "Shia, my wolf," said. I promptly pushed her out of my thoughts. I really don't want her to claim that Blair actually wins. I remain optimistic about Aries' future. "What brings you here?" I inquired confidently as I stood up from the bed. Blair grinned mischievously. "I am embarking on an exciting journey. This pack is mine, as I will become the official Luna," she said, and the way she smiled afterward ignited a fiery rage within me. "You will never be his Luna." I recounted every detail, causing her to burst into laughter and clutch her chest. "Oh," she whispered. "What was that?" "I am his mate," I shouted. "You're not. I can't fathom what you did to suddenly become his future Luna. Aries loves me. He promised to marry me." "Hold on. Wait," she interrupted, her hand raised to halt me mid-sentence. "Are you discussing your past experiences with him once more?" she inquired, causing me to tense up. "You're a murderer," I shouted. "You took the lives of my parents." I raised my voice, attempting to create some space between us. It's incredibly difficult for me to meet the gaze of the person responsible for my parents' death, especially when I'm also supposed to be with the person I love more than anyone else. "What's going on? Does the moon goddess toy with my emotions?" Blair remains stoic, concealing any trace of emotion, yet her singular objective is unmistakable, to ridicule me in the aftermath of what transpired. "You're making a fool of yourself," she finally said. "Aries doesn't care about you. You mean absolutely nothing to him. Aries deeply regrets being with you," she jeered, leisurely advancing towards me. "He chooses me because he loves me. I am his genuine companion. I can anticipate your thoughts. It seems like destiny is having a good laugh at your expense. You're just an omega, so you should be aware of your position," she said, pointing at my forehead and giving me a thorough once-over. "You don't even look good." She forcefully shoved me, but I somehow managed to stay steady. I remained silent. Her presence fills me with an overwhelming sense of fear. I prefer to keep her hands away from my skin, as I value cleanliness. I am overwhelmed by the intense sensation of reliving the tragic loss of my parents, and it's painful for me. I gulp. "You have no authority to make such a statement." "Certainly, I do, sweetheart. I can sense the intense dislike you had towards me," she chuckles. "It must be quite painful for your parents to be taken by a young werewolf, the future Luna. And I can imagine it's quite disheartening for your partner to be swept away by someone you least expected." She whispered, attempting to reach out to me, but I instinctively recoiled. I couldn't help but shake my head. Well, what truly matters is the person he holds dear. and what's truly important is that my parents live on in my heart." Her laughter echoed through the room, abruptly cutting off my words. "You possess an ample amount. He loves me. He chose me because our connection is undeniable." Undeniable connection. I swear, I am his genuine companion. His choice was solely motivated by the alliance. I begged, my voice filled with desperation, hoping for her to validate my actions. However, all she did was laugh in response. "You're mistaken." Her smile slowly disappeared as her expression grew more serious. "My father decided against pursuing an alliance with this pack because he believed it wouldn't be beneficial for me. However, Ares arrived and my father took a liking to him. Ares is always ready to be our matchmaker, and they suggested me, as they know I've had feelings for him since we were kids. Ares assured me that it won't be an issue. He mentioned that he is indifferent to the absence of an alliance. He simply has an affinity for me, but our marriage will also involve an alliance." "You have more than sufficient," I shouted. "I'm tired of constantly being reminded of it. It's causing me immense heartache. I can't stand to hear about it anymore," and that brought a smile back to her face. "You remind me so much of your deceased parents, weak and foolish." Her words were abruptly silenced as I delivered a forceful slap to her face, the impact resonating with a sharp sound as she turned away. Her cheeks turned a shade of pink as she instinctively shielded them, while her eyes widened in surprise. "You emerged victorious," I exclaimed. "That's how amazing it is, isn't it?" I murmured, my voice steady yet trembling. She gently removes her hand from her cheeks, revealing a trace of blood at the corner of her mouth. This unexpected sight sends a jolt of shock through me, causing my heart to race. I'm unsure of my actions. "Blair." Her eyes grew wide as I mumbled, and Ares abruptly entered the room without any warning. I feel a rush of anxiety. "Ares," I faltered. "She won't stop mentioning my parents. She takes great pride in her accomplishments. Please remove her from my room," I pleaded, and his gaze shifted toward Blair's lips as she began to cry out. "That's not true. She slapped me, accusing me of taking you away from her." Blair let out a piercing cry. Ares gazes at me, his expression filled with bewilderment. "You must trust me." "Don't worry, I believe you," he whispered gently, cradling her head against his chest. She sobbed uncontrollably, seeking solace in the warmth of his embrace. Ares shot me a menacing glare. I vigorously shook my head and tightly clenched my jaw. "That's absolutely false. Ares, you have to." "Do you honestly expect me to believe you after the way you've relentlessly bothered me?" He let out a deep, menacing growl. "You must be out of your mind," he exclaimed as he gently ran his fingers through Blair's hair. He gently kissed her hair while she continued to feign tears. "Now I expect an apology from you." "Do as I say," he demanded. I couldn't help but shake my head as tears began to well up in my eyes. "She took the lives of my parents, and you actually think I should say sorry?" "Oh, you know about it, Ares. Wow, this is not at all what I expected from you." "How many times do I have to remind you to apologize, Omega? Otherwise, I'll have the beta summon you to the dungeon level," he warned, and tears finally streamed down my face. Blair released her embrace and turned towards me, tears streaming down her face. An incredibly talented actress, and it's astonishing how she continues to thrive to this day. They're clasping their hands together, and it fills me with a sense of vulnerability. "Now, apologize," Ares commanded. I gazed at Blair, a small smirk playing on my lips. "Do it before my patience runs out." "I apologize." I stumbled over my words. "That's not sufficient for me. Please get down on your knees." Blair spoke, and I turned to Ares, seeking a glimmer of support, desperately clinging to a flicker of hope. "Follow her instructions. I won't be backing you up over Luna." Dana POV. I am brought to my knees, tears streaming down my face. I apologize. And that's how Ares left me, tears streaming down my face as he held his precious Luna. "You can count on me to provide guidance and unwavering support, okay?" She has spoken in a gentle tone as I tried to wipe away my tears, even though they continued to flow. Even abandoning this group, I inhaled deeply. "Yes," she exclaimed with excitement. "His transformation was remarkable. I grasped the fact that he made a promise to marry you previously, and while he may be our potential partner, perhaps we can always find another opportunity for a compatible mate. He isn't the one." She offered her advice. I nodded and tucked my hair behind my ear. You'll just have to come to terms with his rejection, she adds. The pain is unbearable as I contemplate the possibility of releasing him after enduring the agonizing weight and clinging to hope for far too long. I embrace his refusal, I whispered silently. You'll have to let him know, she replied. However, to ensure your peace of mind, we must first depart from this location, and I will accompany you. Don't forget that, she added, filling me with hope. Indeed, I sighed. I need to gather my thoughts and compose myself. I must come to terms with the truth. I always came up short. Aries is not mine. He's someone from my past that I had a deep connection with during my childhood. If he genuinely loves me, he wouldn't turn me away. He chooses Blair, the woman who made my life a living nightmare, over me. I am prepared for any challenge that comes my way, I exclaimed as I stood up and opened my cabinet. I begin gathering my clothes and belongings. Today marks the joyous union of Blair and Aries as they embark on their journey of love and commitment. The individual responsible for the tragic loss of my parents has now assumed the esteemed position of Luna within the pack I once called home, and this development fills me with a profound sense of anger. Is there any way to utilize it? It pains me to come to terms with the fact that I will never experience being in the same position as Aries Luna. However, I am fully aware of my value. I will never bow down to anyone, even if I have feelings for them. I will always prioritize my self-respect and stay true to myself. He has undergone a transformation, and I will acknowledge this truth and hold it in my thoughts. Currently, I find myself in a cabin, a secluded spot nestled deep within the enchanting woods, where I would seek refuge during my tender years. As I rise from my slumber, my eyes are met with the sight of a shattered small mirror. I gaze upon my reflection and come to the stark realization of my own disarray. I appear disheveled. Are you prepared? Shia spoke in a hushed tone. I gently glide my fingers through my hair. I am fully prepared, surpassing the readiness of others at the wedding venue. I glanced over and noticed my bodycon dress lying on the bed. I am fully prepared, donning my sleek black bodycon dress that accentuates my figure and applying makeup to conceal my inner turmoil. I find myself standing at the entrance of Moonstone Pack, where a crowd is assembling in the moonlit grove, the chosen location for their wedding. You can do it, Dana, my wolf softly murmured. You look absolutely stunning, she complimented, causing a smile to spread across my face. I paused for a moment, placing my hand on my waist, before taking a deep breath and confidently making my way towards their venue. The sound of people's voices fills the air. I can already envision Aries and Blair, their faces beaming with joy as they gaze into each other's eyes. As this sacred union unfolds, it is expected that you all honor and acknowledge Blair Van Everhart as your Luna, who will stand alongside Aries Xander Hendricks, the esteemed alpha of our pack, in guiding our community. As the judges' whispers fill the air and all eyes are fixed on the stage, I quietly make my way through the back door. And then Blair Van Everhart. Can I borrow the microphone, please? I interrupted the judge. His gaze grew wide as he locked eyes with me, and hushed murmurs filled the air as all eyes turned in my direction. I gaze upon Blair. Her eyes grew wide, and it appeared as though she was trembling with anger, while Aries' gaze remained fixed on mine, perhaps contemplating my intentions. Excuse me, but you cannot interrupt the... I understand, I smiled. However, my current focus is not on that particular task. This won't take much time. I included. People gaze at me with disdain. I didn't hesitate for a moment, swiftly grabbing the microphone from the judge's hand. I'm Dana Toussaint, the one who's known for stirring up a bit of excitement. I chuckle as Blair clenches her fist, leaning in to say something to Aries. However, his gaze remains fixed on me, penetrating and intense. What on earth is she doing here? Oh no, here she goes again, making a spectacle of herself. The hushed murmurs filled the air as I chuckled, undeterred by the judge's futile attempt to snatch the microphone from my grasp. I gazed at Aries, a smile playing on my lips. I, Dana Toussaint, the woman who you referred to as Omega, acknowledge and accept your rejection, Aries Xander Hendricks. As I made my declaration, a buzz of excitement filled the air. Whispers and laughter rippled through the crowd, all eyes fixed on Aries and Blair. Blair's eyebrows shot up as she gazed at someone, seeking support, while Aries remained in a state of shock, overwhelmed by confusion. "Remove her from my sight!" Blair shouted with anger. "She's completely destroying this wedding." "Don't worry, Blair." I paused for a moment. "I can no longer be associated with this group, and I won't have any kind of connection with any of you ever again, and don't expect me to plead." Blair's eyes grew darker as she shook her head. I am fully aware that she desires to exert control over me, and witnessing her experience a sense of confusion brings me a sense of contentment. "Oh, I never saw that coming," they whispered. "Stop it," Blair growled. "You're welcome to carry on with the wedding while I cut my connections with you and make my exit." I abruptly interrupted her and defiantly turned my back on all of them, even going so far as to drop the mic. Aries POV. I'm not sure what to make of this feeling. Dana's words on the mic left me stunned. She walked away without a word, and all eyes followed her as she exited, the room still buzzing with noise. I simply want to turn her down. I never imagined she would leave like that, disregarding all the pleas she made for me to stay. I sense the agony of my wolf blaze deep within me. I feel completely immobile at the moment. I can't seem to get Dana out of my mind. Wow, this wedding seems like a total mess. There is a buzz of conversation and laughter in the air. I'm embarrassed for our Luna and Alpha who can't even address the situation after it was ruined by an Omega girl. "Aries! Wow!" Blair exclaimed. "What were you thinking? You could have said something," she yelled, and I looked around. They were all laughing, and I glanced at the elders who were shaking their heads. I walked away from everyone at the venue, noticing Anders' wide-eyed expression as he tried to prevent gossip, while Blair followed me outside. She firmly took hold of my hand. "What on earth are you attempting to do at this moment?" she snapped. "You didn't even attempt to stand up for me or acknowledge me as your Luna." When I gaze at her, there is emptiness, a lack of emotion. I'm feeling a bit lost right now. I'm still surprised by what has happened that I don't want her to talk to me. "You're my Luna now." "Blair," I whispered with a chill in my voice. "The wedding has concluded." With my hand in my pocket, I added while she shrugged and continued to follow me. "Are you serious? That wasn't the wedding I desired," she scoffed. "You should have disciplined that woman for ruining the wedding I had envisioned." "I'd rather not discuss it at this moment, Blair," I informed her. There were no words I could say to her at the moment, and I could see the anger in her expression, which was unfamiliar to me. Her jaw tightened. "I am disappointed," she whispered, looking at me with anger before turning her back and running inside the pack house. As I watch her run off, I can still see Dana, who stands out from the group, making it clear she no longer wants to be a part of it. I can sense my heart racing. It's the pain my wolf experienced. "I can't stand this," Blaze whispered. I took a deep breath. "You're going to make it through this? You have so much strength." I informed him, and I noticed Ander approaching me with a look of disappointment on his face. He appears to be perspiring. People are returning to their usual routines, aware that Blair Van Everhart has been named the pack's official Luna, he told me, but I didn't care about what he was saying. "Great. The alliance is secured," I murmured, slipping my hand into my pocket. "Are you feeling all right?" he inquired. "Some individuals believe that everything is a laughing matter." "I'd appreciate it if you didn't speak to me at the moment." I turned my back on him, asserting my authority. "The elders want to. I simply aim to ensure the alliance is secure," I said with little enthusiasm. As I stroll away, I casually run my fingers through my hair. Dana POV. After breaking away from the group, I now stroll through the forest, the familiar spot where I would often locate Noah. I still don't feel completely satisfied with what happened, but I am glad that I have finally accepted his rejection. It's his decision on what he'll do next, but I can't shake this feeling of hurt as I reminisce about our past moments and the depth of my love for him. I am extremely frustrated with Blair. Shia expressed her dissatisfaction. She is fully aware of her actions and continues to behave in that manner, which is surprising considering Aries' acceptance of her behavior. She grumbled, most likely rolling her eyes, while I simply closed my eyes for a moment and continued walking. I'd rather not talk about them. It means nothing to me, Shah. It's something. I just hope they get what's coming to them. Life can be quite complex in various ways. She continues to complain about them, but all I can focus on is improving myself. All I felt was disgust and stress. I am determined to avenge my parents. I want Blair to experience the same pain my parents felt after she killed them, and I want Ares to understand my suffering. No one can stand in my way. Where on earth are we headed? Shia lets out a deep sigh. We could run into Blair's followers. She is never satisfied. She added that she could detect the irritation in her voice. I prefer not to focus on anything else at the moment, Shia. I aim to enhance my strength and reciprocate past actions. I want everything to be different this time. I refuse to be a victim again. I whispered, and she sighed, but I stopped in the middle of the woods when I sensed something different. The darkness is closing in, and I can't shake the feeling of being watched by those piercing eyes. Xia whispered with concern, "Something is not right." When I turned my head, I was taken aback to see rogues standing in front of me. Once more, I looked away, and a multitude of figures were wandering around me. What? Out of nowhere, a group of assailants ambushed me, causing me to tumble to the ground. I let out a loud groan as someone grabbed my bag. "No!" I shouted. "Hey, that belongs to me. I possess the items my parents left for me. Do you think we care?" One of their eyes changed to yellow as they opened my bag and tossed out everything except the luxury items. I stood up. "No, please stop," I pleaded, but one of them let out a loud cry and struck my face to the ground. A man kneels before me, laughing. He whispered, "Such a stunning sight," while gently holding my chin. I gaze at him with trepidation. "Do you want this?" He presents me with the necklace my parents had gifted me. I attempted to grab it, but he quickly closed his fists around it. He attempted to reach for my hair, but I swiftly slapped his face and stood up. His eyes lit up with intensity. "You have an attractive appearance, but your behavior is challenging, and that's what we enjoy reprimanding." He whispered as his face gradually changed into that of a wolf. His eyes transformed to a striking shade of yellow, while his sharp fangs became visible. With a fierce howl, he shifted into his wolf form. The other rogues cleared a path for him as he attempted to attack me, but I did everything in my power to prevent him from harming me. "Shift!" I called out to Xia. "Okay," she replied swiftly, pushing through the pain as she transformed into her wolf form after the rogue sliced her neck with his long nails. I attempted to retaliate, but he swiftly grabbed my head and forcefully slammed it against the stone. I let out a fierce roar as my wolf lay defeated, unable to continue the fight. They let out a resounding, confident howl. "Xia!" I pleaded, but we couldn't both be completely innocent. "Leave her alone." Before me was a towering figure with a commanding voice, Dana POV. "I don't feel like I can keep fighting right now. It's a dark moment where I feel completely alone, but then there's a man who made all of those feelings disappear. I don't trust him with that recognizable voice. He took me, he lifted me, and that's when I saw his face, Alpha Bathel Harris. Is she up?" She is awake, but her body is struggling to function properly following the intense attack by the rogues. She exerted her power, which impacted her wolf. "I hope the healer can help her recover quickly," he said. The voice sounded like Bathel's, but I couldn't move or speak. I find myself unable to move my body. I'm familiar with him. We used to meet for some reason. He leads the Sunflower Pack, known for their strength. "You appeared to be overly concerned," a woman's voice remarks. "She used to assist me, so I wish for her to recover quickly." "There's absolutely no justification for that," he retorted firmly. She replied, "I know. Rest assured, she will be okay. The healer mentioned the possibility of her waking up today," she said, filling me with so much hope that I felt the urge to shake my body and call for assistance. It's frustrating to listen to their conversation without being able to intervene. "I'll leave you here," she declared. "Oh, absolutely not." That's the conclusion my mind has reached. I can't even make out what my wolf is trying to communicate at this moment. "Is she still breathing? What? Are you planning to stay here?" she inquired. He whispered, "Certainly not. I'll only return if she wakes up," he said, and I struggled to scream. "Is it possible that I have passed away? I am alive." My eyes widened in surprise as I gazed up at the white ceiling. I feel disoriented and confused about my surroundings. I sway my body to show I'm alive, feeling my wolf's breath near my ear. I scan my surroundings, everything still unclear until my eyes meet a man who appears too flawless to be real. He's a recognizable figure. I was never mistaken. He went by the name Alpha Bathel. His brown hair and eyes complement his strikingly attractive face. His intense focus is solely on me, even with someone standing next to him. "Where am I?" I whispered. "Woman, you shouldn't feel threatened around us when my brother." Anna, the man with a deep voice and attractive face, interrupted the woman without shifting his gaze away from me. Anna, the woman, rolled her eyes. She replied, "Fine," before walking away. I nibble on my lips and glance around. I still can't. You entered our territory and were attacked by rogues. I have never ventured into a different forest. I know it's still the land of Moonstone Pack. I responded, still feeling defensive, while he looked at me with a smile in his eyes, as if he found my words ridiculous. He chuckles at the mention of the Moonstone Pack. "What's mine is mine, and that pack has nothing to do with mine," he stated with a chilling tone and eyes blazing with anger when I brought up Ares's pack that concerned me. "I must depart now," I stated. "Should I express my gratitude for saving my life?" Feeling uncertain, I inquired as I rose from the bed, only to have him effortlessly grab my arm, causing my eyes to widen. "What are you up to?" "Don't you recall who I am?" he inquired with a gentle tone, his gaze tender as he studied my facial features. Gazing at his face, I feel like I can see into his soul. I recall things, and his face. They're still familiar, and I'm too scared to answer his question. He pushed me away and shook his head. "You can't go by yourself," he stated. "Yesterday you were almost killed by rogues." "This is not a regular event," he said with evident frustration. "I can sense the rhythm of my heartbeat. I understand the importance of being cautious given my past experiences." Taking a deep breath, I tried to calm myself. "I know I am sorry. Explain what happened so I can avoid taking actions you didn't want. The pack members are uneasy about a girl running here after being attacked randomly." He cut me off, showing his impatience. I sit down on the bed while he takes a seat in the chair across from me, gently holding his chest with his hand. "I'm not sure if it's necessary to explain my perspective at this moment," I whispered. "I require a detailed explanation," he stated impatiently. I gulp. "It's about silly love," I chuckled. "The boy I loved the most replaced me with a woman who ruined my life, the very girl who killed my parents. You must be familiar with the most prominent Alpha Ares Xander Hendricks, along with his new Luna, Blair Van Everhart." I glance down, fidgeting with my hand as it shakes. Recounting a tale as if we were strangers is uncomfortable for me. Back when we were teenagers in the woods, I would assist him with his injuries from battling the rogues. At this moment, his gaze is fixed on me. I feel a strong connection with him. I'm curious if he still recalls. He knows me, for sure. "Is that everything?" he inquired. I accepted his rejection because he humiliated me. I turned my back to that pack, so I didn't expect that I trespass on your land. Should I apologize to you, Your Majesty? His eyes lit up. I could tell he just realized that I remember him. I recall those vivid memories. "How are you feeling, Your Highness?" "Call me Bathel, Dana. You've undergone quite a transformation." "Anna will help you," he interjected as he stood up from the chair, prompting me to quickly rise from the bed. "I know that you remember me. We remember each other." He turned his face towards me after I asked. Such a mesmerizing beauty. "You can choose to stay here if you want. Feel at ease. You're in a secure place, Dana." Ares POV. "The alliance was truly the best decision you made, Ares," Ander remarked while handing me a bottle of wine. I smile as I take the glass of wine. "I am confident that it was the right decision," I stated. "The Black River Pack plays a crucial role in the resurgence of this pack, but they wouldn't be where they are without my contribution," I added with a chuckle. "Indeed," he affirmed. "It could be an interdependence. This pack can function without them. It was only for a short period, but they are still valuable, and I have no regrets about marrying Blair." I cut him off in the middle of his sentence without a second thought. He gave an enthusiastic nod. "How is your connection with Blair going?" "She is receiving numerous invitations from the Alpha group. They were eager to meet her. I'm sure Alpha Bathel is one of them." He chuckles, attempting to provoke me. I gritted my teeth and set the glass of wine on the table. I have no regrets about marrying Blair. I am grateful for her. She truly left a remarkable impression in this pack. I picked her despite losing some people for her. Even now, I still ponder what occurred between Dana and me, leaving me speechless. I can vividly recall her face and voice. Unfortunately, our conversation about Blair triggered thoughts of Dana, making me feel terrible about myself. I don't want to lose her, I said. She's ideal in my eyes, I added, running my fingers through my hair. Ander arched his eyebrows. Do you have feelings for her? She's flawless in every way. I gave a wink. She left me feeling completely content, unlike anyone else before. I confidently stated, and he nodded in agreement. After a moment of contemplation, my eyes darted to the door as Blair abruptly appeared. Her gaze always brings a smile to my face. My attention shifted to Ander, who didn't seem pleased to see Luna. He didn't say anything. He abruptly stood up and left my office, allowing Blair to enter my place. Great leadership, she expressed admiration. My father is impressed by your progress, and the elders have praised you as the most formidable young alpha of our time, she mentioned as she took a seat in the chair opposite me. I grinned. I couldn't have done it without you, I expressed, moving my thumbs towards her lips. Well, you could never achieve that if that bitch Dana is still here, she said with bitterness in her voice. I remove my thumbs from her and recall her actions. I can vividly recall Blair's actions towards Dana's parents and everything she did, but it no longer holds significance as Blair is now my Luna. Dana is a distant memory and no longer holds significance in my life. You're correct, I whispered. She rose from the chair and made her way over to me. She placed her hand on my shoulder. I am so proud of you, she kissed my neck, causing me to close my eyes. I dislike how you prioritize leadership over giving me the attention I need. Her gentle voice was barely above a whisper as she spoke into my ear. Blair, she placed her hand over my mouth. Shut up, she commanded as she sat on my thighs. She tightly grasped my hand. You should consider taking a break once in a while too, she whispered into my neck as I stood there, unmoving. I allow her to touch me freely without making any attempts to reciprocate. She halted and turned to me. Aries, I agree, I should take a break, I said with a smile and kissed her forehead before gently guiding her off of me. I need to take a shower of me. I need to shower, dear, I stated. She nervously swallowed and ran her fingers through her damp hair. She recently showered. You could have showered with me earlier, she chuckled, appearing let down. We can do that again, I assured her with a smile before exiting the office, leaving her behind. After showering, I went topless to the dressing room. Blair Everhart's father is here. Ander mind-linked me, causing me to raise my brow. I know he's just proud of our pack's accomplishments, I casually mentioned, not focusing on the conversation. Make sure to greet your Luna's father with respect when you meet him, he spoke impatiently. I can sense his lack of enthusiasm in his voice, which makes me sigh as I choose my clothes. Could you please allow me a moment? I replied. Not too long, he replied. You need to show some enthusiasm for this, Aries, he said, almost making me want to laugh. I have no interest in that matter, never. Of course, I'll be there. I deceived myself as I pushed him out of my thoughts. I don't want to receive any more calls because of Hernando. Clad in formal attire, I was promptly greeted by Blair at the entrance. I want Dad to see how sweet we are, she joyfully exclaimed as she linked arms with me, and we strolled down to the lobby, where we spotted her father and the beta male sitting on the couch, sipping on expensive wine. I like this, he whispered as he set it down. Daddy! Blair warmly greeted him, walked up to him and embraced him. He repeated the action with her. It's great to see you smiling, sweetheart, he said, and she giggled. I grinned. It's great to see you again, Alpha. You can address me by my name, or perhaps you can address me in the same way your wife does. He rudely cut me off. I'm at a loss for words in response to that. I just smiled and hugged him for a few seconds. After we let go of our embrace, I immediately pounced on him. Hernando, I muttered under my breath. I want to have a conversation with you alone, Aries, he said while glancing at Blair standing beside me. She can be with... No, she cannot, he interrupted me. I turned to face Blair, who wore a look of disappointment. She replied, Okay, sure. I apologize, dear. Hernando spoke, and Blair simply sighed before walking away. Everyone in the room walks away, leaving just the two of us for some privacy. I sat on the couch with a smile, feeling at ease with just the two of us. Aries POV. I'm pleased that you enjoyed the wine I recommended. Blair mentioned your preference for that wine, so I made sure it was served exclusively to you if ever you visited this place, and it did indeed happen. I began with a smile that stretched from ear to ear. Well, I appreciate that, Aries, he said, taking a deep breath. I want to be direct with you, he stated. I am grateful that our partnership had a significant effect on both packs, and you have gained a reputation as the strongest young alpha. You are now a danger to all alphas. He chuckles and gives me a small round of applause. I couldn't help but smirk. Everyone is a threat to me because my father holds the same position as I do. They are fully aware of my upcoming achievement. I blurted it out without a second thought. He nibbled on his lips. Sure thing. It's common knowledge that you're the one destined to preserve the fortune your predecessors toiled to build. I outperformed the previous alphas, I stated confidently and with determination. I can vividly see the surprise on his face, but he's just smiling nonetheless. That's the truth, Aries. It's common knowledge that the pack has been thriving since your father passed away. The individuals who wished for my father's demise must be feeling unfortunate, as he was succeeded by someone even more distinguished. I nibbled on my lower lip while sipping a glass of wine. All right, that's sufficient for the time being, he stated. I'm here to discuss your relationship with my daughter, Blair. His words made me gaze at him intently. Yeah? Are you content and pleased with her? When I see him, I struggle to find satisfaction and happiness since returning to reclaim my position as alpha. The only time I felt truly happy was when I was with Dana. It took me a moment to smile and agree. Of course, Hernando. He gave a confirming nod. You don't have to think about the answer, Aries. I value your daughter, I told him. That's it. I would never cause her any harm. She filled me with contentment and joy. I truly believe I wouldn't be the person I am today without your daughter, sir. I spoke with a respectful and polite tone. Is that true? He asked with a sigh. I just want to confirm, because I heard that you argued with my daughter after your ex-Omega embarrassed you, he added. Every time he mentions that topic, I can feel the anger surging through me. My face shows no emotion. Without uttering a word or revealing any emotion, my heart races and my thoughts spiral. Where could Dana be at this moment? What's her deal? Is she all right? Is she okay? Has she found the partner she truly desired? There will be a disagreement, sir, I responded. It occurred because I didn't intervene when the Omega rejected me. I allowed her to do so for my peace of mind. It's all irrelevant now. I am already married and content with Blair. I included some heartfelt words. His smile always brings me a sense of contentment. He trusts me. He expressed his wish for her well-being. You're doing great with the leadership. This pack is the most powerful, and I don't want my daughter to think that you only married her for political reasons, he mentioned. Don't fret about that, I murmured. I have a single request, he stated. What? I desire to have a grandchild. Dana POV. I listened to Bathel's words and decided to stick with his group, realizing I had nowhere else to go. I am confident that I can thrive in this location. Bathel is wonderful, and I feel at ease with him. Yet those past events are still lingering in my mind. It has been weeks since those events occurred. Weeks passed since I acknowledged Aries' rejection, which likely broke his heart too. At this moment, I made my way to the training ground. I observed Anna's impressive teaching skills as she instructed the young girls in combat, and I found myself closely studying and observing their interactions. Anna is a kind woman, and she is Bathel's sister. Everyone in this place is friendly and welcoming, but Anna stands out as the best for me. She exudes a mix of warmth and aloofness. She has mastered the art of maintaining a healthy work-life balance. It appears that everyone has gained a wealth of knowledge today, Anna said with a chilly tone while adjusting her hair with her hand. The Omegas nodded enthusiastically with a smile. I'm pleased that you've all absorbed the lessons I've taught and are ready to tackle the new challenges life throws your way. She whispered, and a smile spread across everyone's face. All right, you are free to return to your activities now. Never forget the rules. After making an announcement, everyone expressed their gratitude and then departed. She turned towards me, her face beaming with a smile. "How do you like it here, Dana?" she inquired with a hint of worry in her voice and expression. I nodded enthusiastically. "Sure thing," I exclaimed with joy. "I haven't been here for long, but I already feel safe and this place is starting to feel like home," I muttered, glancing around as she couldn't help but smirk. "That's great news, Dana," she murmured. "How do you get along with my brother?" she inquired, looking puzzled. I gulped. "Well, with Alpha Bathel, I am fine with him, and he's not that speaking to me this week." I hesitated. "I'm confident he will communicate with me further. We were familiar with each other," I added with a smirk. She gave a firm nod. "Do you like it?" she inquired, leaving me puzzled about her intentions. I grinned. "I enjoy everything about this place. I appreciate the way you train people," I replied, and a smile lit up her eyes. "Would you like to be trained, Dana?" she inquired. Dana POV. My eyes light up with joy. Who wouldn't desire to undergo training? I feel like my strengths and abilities are often overlooked. I am determined to succeed and believe in preparing thoroughly beforehand. I feel like someone who can't stop expressing what's on their mind. It felt strange that she pulled that expression. She nibbled on her lower lip. I'm thrilled that someone is eager to be trained. Some individuals feel compelled and fearful. It's my first time witnessing someone so joyful. My smile stretches even wider in a slightly awkward manner. She approached me and gently patted my shoulder. "It's a pleasure to meet someone as wonderful as you, Dana. I truly hope you decide to stay here," she said to me as I stared back with a blank expression. "I am glad that someone truly values me. Bathel and Anna are the only ones who want me to stay." I grinned. "Sure," I replied. "So, when are you available to start training?" she inquired. With a smile on my face, I quickly tackle her once more. "Tomorrow," I declared confidently. "Well, then we have a deal." Now, I am prepared to confront those who have caused me pain in the past. I am determined to stand up for myself. My day was filled with lively conversations and a tour with Anna. She mentioned she had some errands to run now. Now I am by myself, but I've chosen to bring Alpha his favorite. I am eager to take on the role of serving instead of the Omega. I would like to express my gratitude to him for rescuing me and accepting me into this group. Currently, I'm carrying a tray of food as I walk into his office, pausing at the doorway. I knock on the door and can hear some murmurs. "Now, please leave." He spoke quietly to another person. I raised my eyebrow in surprise as a woman opened the door and walked away without a word. Her gaze was fixed downwards, avoiding eye contact with me. I gaze at her intense curiosity and then turn my attention to Bathel, who appears preoccupied with something else. "Come here," he ordered. With a smile on my face, I entered the room and caught his attention as he shut his laptop and looked at me. I gently nibble on my lower lip. "Your Majesty, I have prepared this for you. Although I didn't make it myself, I simply enjoy presenting it to you," I whispered as he gently wrapped his chest with his hands, his gaze fixed on me as if analyzing every detail. "You're not required to do that." His tone was icy. I grinned. "I am eager to engage in activities. I would like to do something positive to show my gratitude for saving me when I was in a life-threatening situation," I informed him. He gave an enthusiastic nod. "No need for thanks. You assisted me initially, so that's no big deal." I smiled uncomfortably because that was something. I was on the brink of death when he came to my rescue. Faking a cough, I set down the tray of food on his table. He murmured his gratitude. I chuckled and found myself at a loss for words. "Well, would you like to have a seat?" He cut me off. I feel compelled to sit in the chair across from him as he questions me. I took a deep breath and said, "That wasn't anything, anyway. You rescued me when I was on the brink of death. It's a bit embarrassing that I bother you about your girlfriend." "I don't have a girlfriend," he pointed out. His voice is captivating, leaving me mesmerized by his presence. I was taken aback. "What? That wasn't?" "Indeed, it's a different business." His response was somewhat restrained when it came to communication. His focus was clearly on speaking and thinking about them initially. I can't help but find him adorable. I believe he possesses all the qualities I desire in a man. a man who always considers my feelings and speaks thoughtfully. "Are you all right?" he inquired. "I think I should just go. I brought this for you, but I don't want to interrupt your work." "It's all good," he reassured me, bringing a smile to my face. "Oh, is that so?" I whispered. "I understand that we haven't had a meaningful conversation since the incident. However, I've concluded that it's important for us to have this discussion. I included. I'm thrilled you rescued me and welcomed me into the pack." I stumbled over my words. "I understand it may seem different, but I prefer to remain here." Gazing downward, filled with apprehension about potential rejection, I can vividly hear his tiny chuckles. "You are welcome to stay in this place whenever you require it, forever and ever," he replied. His face lit up with a grin. He simply grins. His face lights up with a smile, a sight I long for from another person. It's not often that he smiles. Well, maybe it's not that uncommon since I haven't known him for very long, but he hardly gave me a smile when we first met. I whispered, "What?" I expressed my gratitude and flashed a broad smile that lit up my face. His face no longer bears a smile, yet his eyes reveal his happiness. Scanning the room, I feel uneasy and continue searching for the right thing to say. "Dana?" he called me, causing my heart to race. It's like I've been here before. I can see that Aries is associated with him, and it feels inappropriate. I shouldn't dwell on Aries during my interactions with others since he no longer plays a significant role in my life. It's important to focus on the present and face reality. "Your Majesty?" "Address me by my name," he responded. He gazes at me, causing a mix of emotions to play across my face. "What?" "I prefer to be addressed by my name." He leaned in closer to me, and now I can hear him. "Oh, absolutely, no problem," I exclaimed, taken aback by the events unfolding. "Bathel," I whispered, a sly grin spreading on my lips. He murmured, "I like it." "What?" I lunged at his face as he turned his head. "Dana POV. I dislike my name." He spoke to me. "I prefer when you mentioned it." I arched my eyebrows and chuckled. "Your Majesty, I mean Bathel, I don't understand what you're trying to convey at the moment, but I must say your name is quite lovely." I mumbled, his hands meet. "I'm at a loss for words," he murmured. "Have you ever been told how stunning you are, even when you're crying or not doing anything?" His words were incredibly impactful. "What?" "You mentioned experiencing pain and facing rejection," he stated. "By the alpha you've mentioned," he added. "Will that man ever come to understand that he's missing out?" I couldn't help but chuckle at his words. We share a laugh, despite the ache in my heart. I'm unsure what caused me to laugh this time. I'm still feeling upset, and I prefer not to think about Aries and Blair kissing. "I suppose he didn't," I murmured, gazing downward. I was surprised that my voice was so low that it still felt like I was affected. I'm aware that he's aware of it, and it's not good. "I apologize." He softly uttered a negative response. "It's fine," he exclaimed. "I apologize," he stated. "I shouldn't have said that. I was considering simplifying things with you, Dana. I prefer a more casual approach from you," he exclaimed. As I gaze at him, I shake my head in disbelief. "No, you are not. Don't do it." I let out a small laugh. "No need to apologize. I completely understand. I would love to strengthen our bond, Bathel. It's a pleasure to see you once more." I included. "Is that so?" In a hushed tone, he spoke softly. "Sure," I responded. "I will ensure that you are treated exactly as you wish, Dana." Aries POV. I realize I finished my gathering with Blair's dad being not able to answer his solicitation to have a youngster for his cravings. I realize Blair is additionally not prepared with that. I don't believe we're both prepared for that, realizing that we wedded each other for a collusion, and presently it sounds getting excessively intense. At this moment, I'm returning to the bed to put on something else. Ander assembled me for a conference in the gathering room with the seniors. However, I needed to put on something else first, yet didn't expect Blair to go inside. "Oh, you're here," I said. "What did you and my dad discuss?" she asked, loaded with concern. I gave her a search briefly before I began unfastening my top. "Indeed, it's about our relationship and how grateful he is for the turn of events," I answered automatically. I confronted myself in the mirror and she's behind me. "What did you say regarding our relationship?" she inquired. I checked her through the mirror. I contacted her shoulder. "Nothing," I expressed. "What?" "He realizes we have a decent relationship. That is the thing I've said too. You understand what we are. I answered happily as I ran my fingers through my hair and confronted myself in the mirror again as I wore a dark suit. You appear to not focus on me, she said, contacting my hand. Are you certain that is all? He likewise needs grandkids. I intruded on her, feeling that she would be disheartened and cracking yet a sneer structure right in front of her. Really? She cheerfully inquired. I figured he wouldn't cherish it, Aries. It's simply... Her words stopped when I contacted her face. You're beautiful, I murmured, seeing her highlights. I touched the side of her lips as I kissed her temple. I tackled her once more. I will see you later. I have a significant gathering, I whispered to her. She chomps her lower lips. Without me? She asked with interest. Oh, you can simply remain here. You can oversee different things outside. I answered her inquiry. Please accept my apologies, darling. I kissed her palm. I will make things up with you, I added, as I gestured my head and left her. I went into the gathering room with Ander behind me, who's been sitting tight for me a great deal of time. The elderly folks are there, as well as the Gamma, Drake, and the knights in the entryway, watching us. I sit at the center seat and check out by any means of them. Anyway, what's this gathering for? I inquired. Senior Harden murmurs. We as a whole realize that your pack is getting more grounded. It drives the world at present. You prepared your kin well. It's not a direct result of the collision made with Luna's pack, but your extraordinary initiative and hard work. He expressed. I gestured my head in the arrangement. Be that as it may, you realize the Sunflower Pack, right? He added, and I couldn't resist the urge to snicker. Sunflower Pack leads by Bathel. What a joke. That man generally made a contention with our pack. He thinks we despised them, however, he's the one in particular who considers that since he's uncertain. I do, I answered. That pack is likewise cutthroat, and you don't for a moment even have a decent connection with the Alpha there. Senior Weave said, murmuring. There's likewise gossip that he's with a delightful young lady who has an extraordinary potential. We as a whole realize that man generally gets what you lost, Alpha. Maybe that young lady is Dana. We have no updates on her any longer. Ander's words have surprised me. Hearing her name forever feels... It changes nothing. I feel something I can't make sense of. Not all that who turned out to be an Omega is her. Indeed, it is said that the young lady was gone after by the Mavericks in the day. Precisely Dana acknowledged your dismissal and was saved by Alpha Bathel. The depiction of that young lady appeared to make sense of Dana. Dana POV. I recently moved to the Sunflower Pack and I am enjoying the peaceful atmosphere here. I doubt they even considered the other pack. Aries is solely focused on competition and his power to the point where he is willing to sacrifice what he once had for someone new. I prefer not to dwell on the past and instead focus on the present. I aspire to embrace a fresh start as a member of the new community that has welcomed me. Welcome to this pack. A woman lightly touched my shoulder, and I couldn't help but chuckle. I don't even know her name, but she gives off a friendly vibe. Oh, sure, thank you, I exclaimed. Her smile lit up the room. You seem genuinely thrilled to join our team, she said with a wide smile. I gave a confirming nod. This place is ideal. I found myself drawn to Bathel as he conversed with his beta Adrian. Even though the woman was talking, my attention was solely on Bathel. She whispered, "Hey?" "Oh," I exclaimed as I shifted my gaze towards her. "I am Divine, a warrior in this pack. One could argue that I am the most skilled fighter trained by the Alpha's sister," she said, passing me her hand. I am quite taken aback and anxious after hearing that information. I quickly accepted her hand with a smile and shook it. "Oh, Divine, I am," she interrupted me, saying, "Dana, I know," she appended. "Bathel reveals your true self. He always ensured that we treated you with utmost care and consideration. He cannot stand any disrespect towards you." She had a mischievous grin on her face. "He shows no concern when someone else trespasses, but suddenly cares when it's you," she exclaimed. I can feel my heart pounding, and I'm at a loss for words. You must come with me to the training ground," she ordered with a commanding voice that sent shivers down my spine. I gulp and nod my head. "Will you be the one to train me?" I inquired, curious. Her smile lacked any trace of joy in her eyes. "I will be observing, and Anna is the leader." Her response was delivered in a soothing tone. yet it filled me with unease. "Oh, all right," I stammered. "Once we step into the training ground, it's a vibrant and distinct place," Shia whispered reassuringly as she sensed the rhythm of my heartbeat. "You don't have to be nervous." I know, I muttered. "Are you familiar with how to resist your wolf's trigger?" Anna inquired. I envisioned Divine smirking while seated in the chair. I glanced down and tackled her once more. "Well, is it a yes or a no, Dana? I already know your answer, so I suppose there's no need to ask in that manner." She interrupted me with a calm tone in her voice. "Oh, yes, I am eager and prepared to learn how to do that," I said with my lips quivering. Anna bursts into laughter. "You behaved as if we were individuals who posed a threat to you. While this training won't be fatal, be prepared for some bleeding. I prefer not to witness anyone crying." She reflected, inhaling deeply in an attempt to soothe her nerves. Divine Being let out a chuckle. "Indeed." She pointed to a scar on her neck that was particularly unsettling, explaining, "I got this when I was crying a lot." "Is that so?" I inquired because I was unsure. "You don't want to believe it?" Anna inquired. Her tone was quite intimidating. I shook my head in disbelief. "I believe in your abilities, so I don't doubt you." I responded with a fabricated sense of assurance. "That's great," she affirmed. "Bathel mentioned that you narrowly escaped death at the hands of the rogues," she stated. "Imagine me as those rogues who are about to attack you and react accordingly. This will serve as a test. It's not precise training," she included. I furrowed my brows in shock. I never anticipated it would be this challenging. "Are you serious?" I murmured. Laughter echoes beautifully. "This place is no laughing matter, Dana," she whispered. "I understand. Are you prepared?" She abruptly ended our conversation. I took a deep breath. I could say, I hadn't even finished speaking when Anna abruptly kicked me in the abdomen. I let out a cry as I tumbled to the ground, my cheeks making contact with the rough surface. "Oh darn," she muttered. "Get up," she commanded, and I immediately stood up without hesitation. "This is so dull," Divine whispered. "We're not in the thrilling part," Anna informed her. Anna glanced at me while securing her chest with her hand. "This is a must, actually," she chuckles. "We want everyone in this place to receive training, and I appreciate you because you appear to be motivated to do this," she remarked. "I am." I mentioned that my voice was trembling. "Then come at me." Her words were abruptly interrupted as I let out a yelp and accidentally kicked her in the face, causing her to fall. I am consumed by anger when I think about those who have wronged me. I notice the curiosity in Divine's expression, as if she has observed something noteworthy. Anna woke up with a fierce glare in her eyes. "Remember, falling doesn't signify defeat. Keep going, and don't assume you've won." When I attempted to strike her, she grabbed my arm so firmly that I couldn't even budge. "I will win," I muttered, gazing at her with a glare mirroring her own. She softly suggested giving it a shot. "Ah!" I exclaimed as I kicked her abdomen in the same way she did. "Photographic memory," Divine said with a Spanish accent. It's evident that she is Spanish, though. Anna managed to stay on her feet this time. My head is spinning from my rapid movements, picturing her as the god who betrayed me and Blair, who caused havoc in my family and emerged victorious. Everyone who despised me. "I will emerge victorious over you," I shouted as she let out a sudden howl, sending me flying with a powerful force. I didn't even feel a thing. I sensed the impact and then felt someone's hands on my back. When I turned around, I saw Bathel holding me. Dana POV. Bathel guided me to the clinic room of the pack, allowing me to rest on the bed. I couldn't fathom why he was doing this for me. Although I believed I was fine, deep down, I was grateful that he had saved me. I would have been too foolish and cowardly to back out from Anna on my own. "Are you comfortable if I try to alleviate your suffering?" he asked, kneeling in front of me, his hand hesitating near my wounded leg. My heart raced, and I felt a wave of shyness wash over me. Bathel is more than just your average guy. He is the powerful alpha of the Sunflower Pack, a well-respected leader. Rumor has it that he despises physical contact. "I mean, if you also feel comfortable," I murmured awkwardly. "Can you answer me?" He speaks gently while maintaining unwavering eye contact with me. I bit my lower lip and slowly nodded. "Yes," I whispered, feeling the rhythm of my heart. I just hoped that he couldn't read my emotions. When his hand touched my thighs, I immediately sensed pain in my legs while also experiencing discomfort in my back simultaneously. You shouldn't be doing this for me, Alpha. Bathel, he corrected me once again. I looked down and sighed. Bathel, you shouldn't be helping someone like me, I mumbled, and he paused, his hand still on my leg as he looked up at me. What makes you think that? He asked. Because you're an alpha, and an omega like me shouldn't have the privilege of touching you, I responded without hesitation. There was no reaction on his face. Where did you get that information? His words left me speechless. I couldn't answer because Aries was the one who had ingrained such beliefs in me. An alpha couldn't be friends with anyone beneath his rank, except for the beta and gamma. Well, I began, but my words were cut off when he applied something to my wounds. Shit, I whispered. I don't care, Dana, he repeated in a stern tone. At that time, you truly saved my life. I was on the verge of passing away, and you were there to help me. You came to my rescue. Your social standing does not define your level of kindness, and I do not believe that you are weak in the way that you characterize yourself. During the time that he was applying the bandage to my wounds, he continued, and his words moved my heart. He stood up, and I continued to gaze at him. No, not everyone has the same mindset as the man who broke your heart, he interrupted me without any hesitation. Despite the fact that his speech was icy, the gentleness that was present in his gaze made me feel secure and at rest. Do you need anything? He inquired. I looked around, at a loss for words. Oh no, I'm fine, I replied quickly. You should rest and let your body heal. I'll call the healer for you, he said, to which I simply nodded with a smile. Thank you. My voice trailed off as he turned to leave the room, but he paused and glanced back at me. Take care. If you ever need a trainer, I'm here for you, he murmured. His voice was almost shy. I couldn't help but smile and eagerly nodded, to which he returned the gesture before exiting the room. While Angela, the healer, was attending to my wounds by Bathel's instructions, I could already feel the relief in my back. My eagerness to get back on my feet was palpable. Anna made her way into the room with a grin on her face as she slowly climbed out of bed and entered the space. Are you still up for it? She inquired, sounding doubtful. I nodded without hesitation, noticing the change in her expression. Really? She whispered. You have no idea how much Bathel cares about you. I don't understand what's going on with you. He's only known you for a few weeks, maybe a month, but he cares about you because you saved his life. It's strange because there are so many others who have saved him countless times, yet he seems blind to it, she continued, leaving me puzzled. I couldn't grasp her point. I smiled. Well, I think Bathel is just kind to everyone. I can see that. You're not everyone, Dana, she cut me off, moving closer. I don't know what's happening, she murmured while settling into the chair next to the bed. But I can tell he views you differently from others. He doesn't see you as just an omega, she continued, causing me to chuckle. He's your brother. You know him best. He can be distant from me too. There are moments when he shows kindness. Perhaps I truly saved him from the brink of death, and I'm grateful to have saved someone. I declared, attempting to shift her focus. I don't believe Bathel perceives me any differently than other omegas. Maybe he was simply grateful for my actions. However, I didn't want to argue with Anna at this moment. Forget it, she sighed. I just hope you don't lose interest in training. I won't, I interrupted, thoughts drifting to Aries and Blair once more. Aries and Blair are my sources of motivation in battle, providing solace amidst the pain I carry in my heart. Does love truly have that effect on you, Dana? Her tone was gentle. I gritted my teeth and glanced downward. Losing the man I love doesn't bother me, I remarked, trying to conceal the pain, then turned to face her. Perhaps losing him was necessary for me to find someone even better, and that someone is all of you. I experienced a sense of betrayal. It hurts me to think that they're winning and getting more powerful after everything that has occurred. I cannot allow them to thrive as the dominant pack after the way they treated me and my parents. Aries POV. Following that meeting, I sense a profound shift within myself. I can't stop thinking about Dana and the idea that Bathel might be the one who greeted her. I had no idea where she was at that moment, which left me feeling confused. I vividly recall going to my office, locking the door, and opening my laptop only to find our photo together on my desk. I swiftly grabbed it and examined it. It was captured in a Polaroid. I appeared quite joyful in a photograph with her. Her smile, they remain consistent, and she is deeply in love with me. I didn't even notice the smile on my face. I nibble on my lower lip and tuck it away in my drawer before returning my attention to my laptop. I'm curious about Dana's whereabouts and intrigued to explore the validity of their theories, as it appears that everything is falling into place. I couldn't care less. I don't mind where Dana ended up or settled down, but I never imagined it would be Bathel. There is a man who is nearly on par with me, a man who could potentially take my place as the strongest young alpha. "Don't do it," Blaze interrupted me. "What are you referring to?" I asked, feeling perplexed. "You don't need to find her," he stated confidently, and I let out a humorless laugh. "Why not? I'm curious to know if they're being honest with me. If she was true to Bathel, then she must have moved on," I whispered, feeling uncertain about my words that made my heart race. "It's none of your concern now," he stated. "She embraced the rejection. It's all irrelevant now. She is insignificant. Don't listen to." "I know," I interjected. "I am confident in my abilities. I no longer have any interest in her. I am primarily focused on closely observing Bathel." It appeared as if, "Honey," Blair knocks on the door. I promptly shut my laptop and pushed Blaze out of my thoughts. I stood up and ran my fingers through my hair. "I'll be right there!" I exclaimed as I rushed to the door and opened it for her, noticing her heavy breathing. "Maybe you'd like to step outside," she suggested, looking concerned. "What's going on?" I inquired. "You must come with me," she declared loudly before walking away. I trailed behind her. "We're currently in the lobby," and she passed me an envelope. My forehead furrowed as I reluctantly opened it without much consideration. I just discovered a small piece of paper with a mysterious message on it. "Success should not lead to excessive celebration." I can't resist clenching my jaw when I see it. "I wonder who created this," Blair exclaimed, the rage flowing through her body. I placed the paper on the desk. "Probably someone envious of our success," I calmly responded, which only seemed to anger her more. "Are you kidding me?" Her laughter fills the room. "This is a serious matter," she emphasized. She ran her fingers through her hair. "Do you think I'm clueless?" I arched my eyebrow. "Sweetheart, you believe I'm unaware of the meeting discussing the opponent pack and mentioning Dana?" She let out a small laugh. "I can't believe you never shared this with me. You need to quit behaving as if all your success is solely due to your efforts. It's also thanks to me," she exclaimed. I allow her to express her strong opinions, even though they are not based on reality. "Blair," she whispered, "I believe that woman is the one who made this. What if she's trying to get revenge?" Her words are abruptly interrupted as I move closer to her, take her hand, and lock eyes with her. "Relax," I murmured as I gently kissed her forehead. "That is not going to happen." I gently lowered her hand and caressed the side of her cheeks. She gave her head a firm shake. "I'm not finished with her." "Listen to me," I commanded. Ultimately, I prefer that she refrain from taking action. I never imagined Blair would ever try to harm Dana, and I couldn't stand by and let that happen. I am well aware of their past, but I will never abandon Blair. She assisted me, and our group must stay united. Whispering through her ear, I vowed to protect our pack from any who dare to defy us. I doubt they have the capability. She removed my hand when I tried to hold hers. She had a line prepared for when Ander entered the room. "Did you get a chance to read the letter?" "May I inquire?" he inquired. I gave a nod. "We need to take action before this impacts the pack," he stated. "The Black River pack should also be informed about this," he added. Blair chuckles. "Why are you sharing that with him?" She let out an exasperated sigh. "It's time to take action. We are both discussing the same topic, and you don't think that crossed our minds?" she added. I simply observe her and allow her to express herself. "I am aware of the kind of explanation that you are going to provide to me at this very moment. It is not a problem. I would like for you to tell my father about it, since if I did, I am certain that he would talk about other things. Therefore, I would appreciate it if you could please give me some time with the alpha." After taking a few long breaths, Ander turned his attention away from me, and instead focused on her. His voice was soft and hushed as he said, "Sure, I will just have to inform the Black River Alpha, as well as the other people in command to handle this." Then he asked, "Alpha, do you have more commands that I need to do?" "That's all I want," I stated. "I'm confident this is a minor issue. Those troublemakers might be the ones who sent it." Whispering, I made it clear that I was unfazed and confident in my strength. Ander nodded as he left. Blair made physical contact with my hand. "You don't seem scared, but you're also not paying attention to me," she remarked. "Are you even aware of my existence?" "Sure thing." I cut her off. "I acknowledge every part of you, Blair," I whispered. "I can clearly distinguish between what I should and shouldn't pay attention to," I informed her. Her breath caught in surprise. "Can we please discuss what my dad mentioned?" My hand rested gently on her waist. "If I am prepared," I gently kissed the corner of her lips. Dana POV. Another day has come and gone, yet I still feel a strong determination within me. Despite the challenges I face, I am motivated to continue pushing forward. I decided to take on this task myself, knowing that Anna may push me too hard if I don't take control. She possesses so much power that I must prepare myself before summoning the courage to confront her. Currently, I am behaving as if I conflict with someone. I attempted to kick unseen objects in a secure location, specifically in the training room. "I think you need some help," a man with a rough voice exclaimed. I looked towards him and recognized him as Bathel, just as I had suspected. I am aware of my heartbeat. Anna is strong already, but what about him? He is the Alpha King who leads a group of formidable individuals. I glanced down first, then shift my gaze towards him. You don't even need to hesitate," he whispered, interrupting me. I grinned. "I understand that you are occupied, and you may have more pressing matters to attend to. Anna is available to assist me." I offered an excuse while feeling anxious and spoke in a low voice. The intense gaze of the person I was talking to quickened my heartbeat, and my instincts sensed a strong tension between us. I believe it's a dynamic between two individuals who could potentially develop a strong friendship, as I don't think I could ever love another person after experiencing what Ares put me through. I didn't notice when he smiled and shook his head. He whispered, "I'm not concerned about the other issues. There are more important things." I'm speechless about that. I don't want to refuse his help in the end. "Okay," I responded quietly with a forced smile. "Perhaps it would be advisable to refrain from engaging in the same activities with Anna," he suggested. "You should start with the basics," he added. As I gazed into his eyes, I observed his earnestness and questioned my proficiency in the task. I spoke, "The basics," murmuring, paying no attention to the specific words that crossed my mind. I focused on his voice and the compassion he showed me. I have never met a man like him before. He came up to me with a gentle gaze. "Do you want me to show you how to do it?" As my head gradually nods, I focus solely on his eyes. "If you attempt to harm me, I will not retaliate. If you try to strike me or use any tactics to defend yourself against an adversary, I will not react." His voice conveyed authority that was hard to resist. "I want you to know how to manage your balance," he suggested. "You should concentrate on improving your agility. Exercising would benefit you. But considering the current situation, go ahead and attempt to hit, kick, elbow, or knee me. There's no need to worry. I won't retaliate." Before he could finish his sentence, I attempted to punch him in the face, but he swiftly evaded. He is remarkably quick in his movements. I swallowed nervously as a wave of embarrassment washed over me. Despite Anna's professional training methods, I would still prefer her to train me rather than Bathel, as I feel like my confidence is slipping away in Bathel's presence. "It's fine," he spoke with a deep voice that was also comforting, giving me a sense of courage. "It's okay. I want you to hit me wherever you'd like." I sensed the urge to strike his chest. He recoiled, and I noticed a change in his facial expression, yet he maintained a confident and strong demeanor while looking directly at me. I was instructed to increase the intensity. I clenched my fists and struck him, hitting his elbows. Though I could hear him groaning softly, he remained standing and did not fall to the ground. I sensed the anger building up within me. When I see him, memories of past wrongs flood my mind, causing rage to surge through my veins. I clench my teeth as his piercing gaze meets mine. His gaze angers me. I'm frustrated that he remains upright even after my efforts to bring him down. But no, my mind is consumed by thoughts of Ares as I stand before Bathel. "Why can't you get down?" I whispered. I cried while repeatedly hitting his chest, but he remained unfazed, allowing me to continue. Despite my efforts to increase the force, it did not affect him. A tear rolled down my cheek as I eventually collapsed to the ground. "Fuck." I muttered a curse under my breath. "Dana," she quietly spoke in my thoughts. "I feel embarrassed right now," I thought to myself as his hands suddenly reached out towards me. I gaze at him. "Hold my hand, Dana," he commanded. "I am unable to do it at this moment," I admit while avoiding eye contact. "No matter how hard I attempt, I always feel inadequate in accomplishing these tasks," I explain, refusing his assistance. However, he persists in trying to help me despite my rejection. He pleaded with me to hold his hand, asking, "Please, will you take my hand?" His desperation made it difficult for me to say no. I inhaled deeply as I took hold of his hand. Standing up, I gazed at him. "I will teach you all the necessary things you need to, Dana," he whispered. "There's no embarrassing," he added, and I looked at him with embarrassment. "Your performance is great," he commented. "I sense the impact of your punches on my body. I prefer not to fall because I want you to release your emotions. Show me your true feelings." These words reassured me, and tears filled my eyes as I met his gaze. I longed to hear those words. It's important to me that someone truly comprehends and recognizes who I am, and he appeared to do just that. Ares POV. "I need you to investigate the sunflower pack and confirm whether Dana is there." "Are you certain, Alpha? Isn't she a girl that the Luna despised?" "I don't care. I simply require information on her whereabouts." "Understood, Alpha. I'll promptly relay the information back to you." Good. After hiring a warrior to spy on the sunflower pack, I swiftly convened a meeting with the Beta and Gamma. The three of us gathered in my office, and their gazes were fixed on me. "We can't pinpoint who's responsible for sending a suspicious letter to you," Ander remarked. "But did you know there's a possibility that the sunflower pack still harbors animosity toward us? We must act preemptively, or they might launch an attack." "Do you fear them, Ander?" I interjected, noting his hesitance. I sighed and poured myself a glass of wine. My attention focused on my computer screen as I attempted to trace the sunflower pack. "People have caught wind of the situation and are concerned that—" "I understand, Drake," I cut in, "and I know how to handle it. If indeed it's the sunflower pack, what do we have to fear?" I queried, feeling confident, yet silently hoping that the leader of that pack hadn't taken Dana. "Their pack might rival ours in strength," Ander suggested. I took a deep breath as I turned to address them both. I rose from my seat in the chair. Approaching them, I murmured, "We have the Black River pack. I don't regret allying with them. They could prove advantageous. Sometimes you need to learn how to leverage your connections." I added, noting their perplexed expressions. "Are you suggesting we use them as bait?" Ander inquired. I chuckled. "Not quite in the way you're thinking," I whispered. "I wouldn't mind sacrificing a few warriors if it means dealing with a threat from the pack you mentioned. We have ample resources," I added, speaking in a hushed tone. Drake nodded. "Should we arrange a meeting with the Alpha of the Black River pack regarding this matter? I'm certain the Luna would also support the idea." His words prompted me to shake my head. "Blair wouldn't approve," I stated. I could see the disappointment on Ander's face, but I refrained from commenting further. He should know how to handle his responsibilities. "So, I'll handle the pack's affairs. You needn't worry about it." I interrupted Ander. "You two can leave now." I dismissed them. They nodded in acquiescence. "Of course," they both agreed, bowing their heads before exiting my office. Taking a deep breath, I ran my fingers through my hair, contemplating various matters. I longed for some diversion. Dwelling on rival packs was tiresome. They stood no chance, and it pained me to entertain the thought. Nevertheless, I found a certain satisfaction in observing their futile attempts. Despite their threats, I remained confident that Bathel couldn't lay a finger on me. Returning to my chair, I faced my laptop once more, awaiting further updates. Suddenly, a text from the warrior I'd dispatched to spy on the sunflower pack caught my attention. "I've uncovered something," I hastily closed my laptop as Blair entered the room. I was taken aback by her silent entrance, but I met her gaze nonetheless. Something about her demeanor struck me as odd. She was wearing a bracelet, the very one I had given to Dana during our time together. Had Dana discarded it? My eyes lingered on her wrists. "Out of everything, you're fixated on this?" she queried, removing the bracelet and placing it on my desk. "I found it under our bed," she disclosed, seemingly oblivious to its significance. "Are you hiding it for me? Is it a gift?" she asked, a sardonic laugh escaping her lips. "Blair, I've decided to visit my father's pack today," she announced. "I've informed Ander already. I prefer to go alone," she added, her tone tinged with irritation. Rising from my chair, I attempted to interject. "No, you shouldn't go alone. A warrior will accompany you if Ander isn't available." "So you're an exception? You should be the first option to accompany me," she retorted, her voice devoid of emotion. "Ander can convey that to your father." "No," she cut me off. "I feel as though I'm not given enough responsibility here, and it's frustrating," she lamented, rolling her eyes. "I was more fulfilled in my previous pack. I fought and eliminated those I deemed necessary, but assuming the role of your Luna feels overly restrictive. Do I truly require your protection at all times?" she questioned, her anger palpable. I shook my head, perplexed. "What are you implying?" I inquired, attempting to comprehend her grievances. "I want the freedom to pursue my desires," her voice quivered. "If I wish to exact punishment or remove someone from this pack, I should be able to do so without your intervention. I deserve the same respect you command." "Is this born out of love for me? You haven't even uttered those words." "I love you, Blair," I interrupted, finally mustering the courage to vocalize my feelings. It seemed as though I'd expressed them countless times before, yet they had gone unnoticed, or perhaps forgotten. She shrugged dismissively. "Is that so?" "It's the truth," I affirmed. "Whose bracelet is this?" she questioned, picking up the bracelet from the desk. I hesitated. "I don't recall. Perhaps it belonged to my childhood sweetheart." "You mean your one and only childhood sweetheart?" she interjected. I found myself at a loss for words. She was right. She always had been. Dana was my sole girlfriend since my departure from the pack, and upon my return she was absent from my life. I had loved no one but her in Blair's absence. "Yes," I conceded. "What significance does it hold? It possesses no value. I can procure any gold jewelry you desire," I remarked, somewhat dismissively. "But you crafted this, didn't you? You made it yourself?" she persisted. I swallowed hard, memories flooding back. I remembered fashioning a bracelet for Dana despite its lackluster quality. It infuriated me that I still recalled such details. I wished to banish all thoughts of her from my mind. I refused to dwell on the fact that my immaturity had prevented me from corresponding with her, and her subsequent silence. "I don't recall," I stated firmly. "I prefer not to dwell on my past with her, and I refuse to allow her to occupy my thoughts any longer," I declared with conviction, fixing my gaze on Blair. She dropped the bracelet to the floor. "Very well," she murmured. Approaching me, she reached out to touch my cheek. "I expect complete transparency from you," she asserted, her hand trailing down to my neck. I met her gaze, silently acquiescing. "Of course," I whispered, as her fingers brushed against my lips. I pressed a gentle kiss to her delicate skin as she withdrew her hand. "I can manage on my own." Dana POV. Yet another day unfolds, and I find myself darting through the lush expanse of the sunflower pack, trailing alongside fellow Omegas. Our nimble forms weave through the safety of the woods, cautious not to stray too far, lest we encounter the menacing rogues who prowl these parts, inflicting harm upon anyone they deem fit. As I dash forward, a growing thirst tugs at my senses, signaling the need for respite. "You should take a moment to rest," she suggested. Gasping for breath, I acquiesced, allowing myself to collapse beneath the sheltering boughs of a nearby tree. Drawing a deep breath, I fumbled for a water bottle nestled within my small pack, swiftly quenching my parched throat. Placing the bottle back, I focused on regulating my breath, relishing the wave of satisfaction coursing through my weary limbs. "You should inform me sooner if you're running low on energy," Xia remarked. "I can help ease the strain during shifting," she offered, to which I simply nodded in agreement. "Certainly," I replied, feeling the heat radiating from my spent body. Securing my unruly hair with a simple bow, I leaned back against the tree's sturdy trunk, reveling in its comforting embrace. Though an undercurrent of anger and sorrow gnaws at my heart, it no longer holds the same vice-like grip as before. It's as though I've bid farewell to cherished memories, trading them for new connections, unsure if this signals a waning love for Aries. I can't stop thinking about him, I murmured, tracing my fingers over the spot where he used to hold me so tightly. Memories flood back to me, moments shared beneath the sheltering canopy of trees, and then his words resurface in my mind, like whispers on the wind. "What are we, Dana?" he had asked, his eyes brimming with sincerity. I chuckled softly. "What do you mean?" "I want us to be serious," he declared. "I want you as my Luna and nothing less. Can't you feel that we're mates?" I scoffed playfully. "You're all I see, Aries." With gentle grace, he took my hand, pressing a tender kiss to my palm. "I love you, Dana," he professed. "This love is real, and I've never felt it for anyone else. I trust only you." His gaze bore into mine, brimming with adoration. Biting my lower lip, I whispered, "I love you too, Aries." And in that moment, he bestowed upon me my first kiss, presenting me with a bracelet crafted by his own hands. His gestures of affection were always thoughtful, yet as tears streamed down my cheeks, I couldn't help but question my happiness, my healing. The more I dwell on his liaison with the woman who caused me such pain, the more a fiery rage simmers within me, threatening to consume all in its path. "Dana?" Anna's voice cut through my reverie, prompting me to hastily wipe away my tears. With a forced laugh, I rose to my feet, feigning exhaustion. "Apologies," I chuckled weakly. "Just needed a moment's respite," I added, though I knew she saw through my facade. With a sigh, she rested her hands on her hips, her weariness evident. "If you wish to succeed, you must press on," she remarked, her voice tinged with empathy. "If I am tired, then what of her burdens?" I wondered silently. "I understand," I affirmed. "I have no right to falter." "No," she interjected firmly. "This is your first trial. It's only natural," she consoled, offering a reassuring pat on my shoulder. "Thank you for your understanding," I murmured gratefully. "But I see now, I must persevere." With a nod of acknowledgement, she queried, "Are you certain you're prepared? I fear I may have intruded upon your affairs." Without hesitation, I affirmed, "Absolutely. Very well. How do you fare?" she inquired, studying me intently. "I'm fine," I replied with a forced smile. Gathering my belongings, I slung my pack over my shoulder. "Now what?" I queried, ready to resume my duties. Her lips pressed into a thin line. She murmured, "Proceed as planned." Hours passed, and still I pressed on, retracing my steps, engaging in the relentless routine of pack life. Despite the fatigue weighing heavy upon me, I refused to yield, spurred onward by the indomitable spirit of my companions. If they could endure, so too could I. As dusk descended, I continued my solitary trek, venturing deeper into the forest, where danger lurked in the shadows. "What compels you?" Shia's voice pierced the gathering gloom. "It's perilous, and you may encounter wild wolves." "Fear must be confronted," I murmured defiantly, though inwardly trepidation clawed at my resolve. Nevertheless, I pressed onward, guided by the primal instincts of my lupine heart. "We're ill-equipped to face such adversaries," Shia cautioned, her senses attuned to the shifting currents of the forest. I yearned to embrace my fear, I confessed. "I'm weary of evading the inevitable." My words faltered as a sudden presence, a tantalizing scent, disrupted the stillness of the night. An electric tension filled the air, heightening my senses as I strained to discern the source of the disturbance. "Something is amiss," Shia declared, her instincts ablaze as she scanned the surroundings. "Hello?" I called out tentatively, my gaze darting in every direction. With cautious steps, I forged ahead, only to collide with an unexpected obstacle, Bathel. Despite the initial shock, fear failed to take hold. Instead, I found myself drawn to him, an inexplicable sense of safety enveloping me in his presence. "Bathel," I uttered softly, a sense of relief washing over me. "What brings you here?" he inquired, his tone tinged with concern. "Merely exploring." "I can't divulge more," I responded, the rhythm of my heartbeat quickening. Concern etched across his features, he explained. "I noticed your absence within the pack and felt compelled to search the woods. I always ensure the safety of my pack, as peril often lurks in the shadows." His words resonated within me, casting a comforting glow amidst the encroaching darkness. For in that moment, I realized I was not merely an outsider, but an integral part of their community, embraced by their protective embrace. "You remember me," I whispered, a faint smile tugging at my lips. "I'm fine, and though I shouldn't be here, rest assured I'm perfectly safe." "Do you truly believe I could forget you?" Bathel's gaze bore into mine, imprinting his words upon my soul. My heart quickened its pace, drowning out the night's whispers, as his eyes held mine in a captivating embrace. "I cannot say," I admitted, lost in the depths of his gaze, "for too often I've been forgotten by those around me." "Rest assured, I am not among them," he assured me, his sincerity evident in every word. My eyes remained locked with his, drawn to the warmth and sincerity that radiated from him like a beacon in the night. "I sense your reluctance to linger here, and I've observed your dedication to training," Bathel remarked, breaking the spell cast between us. "You should rest within the safety of the pack house. It's unwise to remain here." Nodding in agreement, I replied, "Of course." My breath hitched as a movement caught my eye behind him. In an instant, Bathel swept me behind him, shielding me from whatever threat loomed in the shadows. "Stay behind me, you're safe. My wolf Atlas will protect you." "I'm here," he reassured me through our mental link, his presence a steadfast anchor amidst the encroaching darkness. "Who are you?" Bathel's voice rang out, his stance unwavering as he confronted an unseen adversary. "I know you're not from here." Ares POV. I review the message sent by my spy once more, but it's all for naught. His final communication mentioned that he had obtained some information, but he did not reach out to me again. I just let it be and have chosen to explore the pack. Blair is currently unavailable. She has chosen to visit the Black River pack by herself. I didn't even try to stop her because that's what she wants, and I know that my relationship with her is matured, devoid of any immaturity. Unexpectedly, memories of my puppy love for Dana came flooding back as I strolled with my Beta and Gamma following closely. "May I accompany you?" "Why do you want to accompany me?" "They could cause you harm." "Sure." Her smile quickly comes to mind, and it's hard to stop thinking about it. I regained my composure as soon as I arrived at the main gathering hall. People are summoned, and they all show respect to me. "So," I murmured, "as everyone is aware, Luna departed to have a meeting with her father. She has made a significant decision and now feels more secure than ever." I added, "I don't even feel at ease communicating. I used to be confident speaking in public, but everything changed when Dana accepted my rejection at my very own wedding to Blair. People humiliated us, but it doesn't matter anymore." "Well, we're completely clueless about what's going on," I overheard them whispering. "The history will always repeat itself." "I can sense the thoughts running through your minds," I mentioned. "I'm sure you're all aware of the mysterious letter that was sent to me personally. So you believe this pack lacks the tranquility you anticipate, but you're mistaken. We have the peace that we desire," I declared confidently, quieting everyone. "I have ensured that we are well prepared and organized with the Black River pack. We are secure, and there is no need to worry about those who appear cowardly and hide in disguise because they know they cannot match our strength." I displayed all of my strength to them with a resounding boom. They all cheered joyfully and howled together. I smiled to see them believing. I turned to face Onder and Drake with a smile spreading across my face. A helpful Omega promptly gave me a bottle of wine as I had requested. "I can't be the only one to celebrate with their weakness," I whispered. "We are unmatched by any other pack. This pack has remained resilient for over a century," I included. "They can't defeat us," I lamented while sipping my wine, and they all applauded with smiles on their faces. "You can't always do this," Blaze said angrily. I dismissed him from my thoughts with a roll of my eyes. "So, there's no need to worry, everyone. We acquired the Black River pack, a pack known for its strong warriors, in addition to our pack. This pack is not for the faint-hearted. Alpha." My words are interrupted by a soft voice in my mind. This is a message from the spy I dispatched to the Sunflower pack. I tightened my jaw. "Please allow me some time," I announced as I walked away from individuals who appeared at ease at the moment. "What's going on?" Ander inquired. "Deal with them. I need to take action," I responded promptly. He attempted to continue the conversation, but I ignored him and walked away, heading towards a place where I could be by myself. "What's going on? I can hear you." I connected mentally in response. "I can't," he muttered. "I am lost in the woods and feeling unsure if I can find my way out as I feel like everything is dark." "What in the world?" I muttered quietly. "I apologize, Alpha. I trust you won't penalize me for this. I'm not sure I can handle going through that pack again." "Stop. We're going to have a direct conversation," I interrupted him, pushing him out of my thoughts. I prefer not to listen to him speak without being able to see him. I spotted him in the woods, covered in blood and leaning against a tree. "He did this last night. My wolf appears to be dying," he exclaimed. I attempted to resist and depart. "Who did that to you?" I inquired with my chilly demeanor. "Bathel," he mentioned, "the Alpha of Sunflower Pack. He refuses to allow any trespassers, and he wouldn't even let me meet that new girl, so I missed the opportunity to see if she's the one you're searching for," he added. He sounded out of breath and struggled to speak. "Bathel." I hesitated. I can tell how bad he is right now, and I'm not sure what just happened. "How were you able to get away?" "I wasn't completely honest," he whispered. "I pretended to be a rogue, and he still offered me a chance, but I have no intention of returning to that pack. He's incredibly strong." I didn't even feel concerned for him. I'm frustrated that he appeared to be trying to show me that Bathel is someone I shouldn't underestimate. "Did he offer you an opportunity to run away?" I chuckled with no humor, not even bothering to look at him. He quietly muttered, "Yes." "Well, that's unfortunate," he mentioned. He is breathing heavily. "What are you trying to say, Alpha?" His mouth trembles as he gazes in my direction. "You disappointed me," I mentioned. "You sound like I shouldn't underestimate him. Do you believe he would just let you leave so easily?" I chuckled, aware that the man was likely watches over my warrior. "I just need your assistance. I am feeling weaker and—" "You have to do your job," I interrupted him, causing his eyes to widen. "What do you mean by my job?" he inquired, his hands still trembling. "You are not allowed to return to this place. I can't assist you until you confirm it's not Dana he's been with." Dana POV. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that Bathel sent me back to my dwelling. It's puzzling, especially considering his collaboration with the mysterious werewolf who seemed to be stalking me. Just emerged from my room, freshly bathed, and already pondering. Is Bathel all right? I haven't heard from him since last night. Of course, I didn't expect to, as he ensured I retired to bed, forbidding any inquiries, but my curiosity persisted. As I step out into the pack grounds, my eyes catch Divine and Anna engrossed in conversation. Even though it's exercise time, I find myself veering towards them, curious to join their discussion. "Dana," Anna murmurs. "Tell me about the Alpha," I demand, slightly breathless. "Take a moment to catch your breath," Divine interjects, casting a judgmental glance. I glance down before meeting their gaze. "Last night." "I'm aware," Anna softly interrupts. "It appears someone was indeed stalking you, Dana," she adds. "Stalking?" I inquire. "You heard correctly, but the Alpha released that creature," Divine whispers. "The lone wolf claims to be a rogue, but the Alpha doubts it. He's deployed a warrior to surveil him. Unfortunately, he hasn't been spotted within a pack. He's elusive, so we suspect he's affiliated with powerful entities," she adds, her words stirring unease within me. I feel my heart racing. The tension in the air is palpable, and even my wolf seems on edge. The thought crosses my mind that Blair might not be done with me yet, her intentions veiled in uncertainty, potentially poised to disrupt the fragile balance of my life once more. She'll stop at nothing to harm me. "Dana?" Anna's voice breaks through my thoughts, her expression worried. I swallow. "I don't know," I murmur. I understand your thoughts," she interrupts, reaching out to touch my hand. "We need to talk," she insists. I force a smile, feigning nonchalance. "But about what?" I stammer, though my body language betrays my fear. "There's much we need to discuss. The Alpha is convening a meeting in the conference room, and not everyone is privy to what's happening," she responds. I glance at Divine, who nods, signaling that I should heed Anna's advice. I nod. "All right," I whisper. Anna turns to Divine. "Guide the Omegas through their training regimen," she instructs. Divine nods before heading off to the distance. "Dana, let's go," Anna says. Alone with Anna in the secure chamber, I watch her intently, uncertain of what she's about to say. She's likely preoccupied with pack affairs. It wouldn't surprise me if she was contemplating my expulsion. Anna, I falter. I understand if the meeting concerns me, and... She turns to me abruptly. Is that truly what you think? She interjects. I gulp, sighing. I can sense it. Blair, Luna of the Moonstone Pack, along with her original pack, the Black River Pack, is the most likely perpetrator. She's not done with me. I grasp your meaning, she cuts in again. But what do you believe? She asks, her tone soft, causing me to bite my lip nervously. I wouldn't be surprised if you decided to exile me, I confess, my voice quivering. It's for the packs. Do you genuinely think we would do that to you? She interrupts. I meet her gaze, sensing her offense. It's for the greater good. I trail off, recalling what Blair alone did to my parents. Blair will likely stop at nothing to ruin my life. I doubt she'll allow me to live the life I desire, I add, tears welling up. Concern flickers in Anna's eyes as she steps closer. You don't have to endure what she's done. You won't face that again, she reassures me in a hushed tone. And you're not certain. You can't be sure that Blair or her pack are responsible, she whispers, her voice a soothing balm. I meet her gaze, my heart and body language betraying my anxiety. We'll uncover the truth, Dana, she asserts. The Alpha doesn't view you as a mere pawn to be sacrificed, so expulsion isn't an option. And you must continue your training. Her words are interrupted by approaching footsteps. I turn, startled to find Bathel. His gaze locks onto mine, his hands casually tucked into his pockets. His expression softens, leaving me at a loss for words. I'll leave you two, Anna whispers, furrowing her brow. I begin, but she interrupts, touching my shoulder before departing, leaving me alone with Bathel. I regard him with vulnerability, feeling strangely at ease in his presence. This is no longer a joke. I simply stare at him. Dana, he murmurs, closing the distance between us. I tense, jaw clenched. Alpha. I awkwardly start before correcting myself. Bathel, I softly say. I'm still nervous, dreading what he might say. The suspense is unbearable. I want him to speak, but I lack the authority to demand it. Are you all right? He asks, snapping me back to reality. I swallow. I am. I want to ensure nothing is troubling you. Yes, I interject, my tremors evident. And I know you're aware of my concerns from last night. I'm uncertain about what awaits me, but I trust you have a plan that no one else knows. I blurt out, fear and nervousness driving my words. I'm unsure what I need to feel better. Dana, I apologize if I'm a catalyst for discord within the pack. My words are cut short as he takes my hand. You need to calm down, he whispers gently, locking eyes with me. I can't be calm right now, I confess. What if my instincts and doubts are accurate? I tremble. He continues to hold my gaze. I know you don't feel it, Dana, he says, but I'll protect you. I won't let anyone harm you. I know what I'm doing, and you won't be the cause of any conflict. I won't allow anyone to hurt you, he declares, no matter who they are. I know you, and you're important to me. Ares POV. In the spur of the moment, I sent my spy warrior on a mission to gather intel, not fully grasping my underlying quest for answers. Bathel's mysterious silence since our last conversation now seems almost comical, adding another layer to my intrigue. Tonight marks Blair's eagerly anticipated return, yet the anticipation is tinged with apprehension as she remains unresponsive to my texts. However, a glimmer of reassurance arrives in the form of a letter from the Black River Pack, assuring us of Blair's safety and imminent return, albeit accompanied by someone unfamiliar. The mystery of Blair's companion shrouds the evening with uncertainty. I fervently hope it isn't her father. My attention is currently focused on the mirror in my dressing room as I fix myself. My self-portrait catches my attention. I look too different, and my eyes don't seem to be filled with happiness. As of now, I do not have any idea what type of feeling I am experiencing. In a matter of seconds, I received a notification on my phone. When I open it, I see Blair's name pop up on the screen. She finally replies to my text, but I feel too stupid to assume it is a message from my warrior who's been spying on Bathel's pack. Why do I still hope that Dana is not with him? I am not sure. Why does it occupy your thoughts? Blaze interjects suddenly as I remain fixated on my reflection. That I cannot ascertain, I murmur whilst running my fingers through my hair. You must put her out of your mind, he advises. Furthermore, you must resolve the tensions with the sunflower pack, he insists, though I pay his counsel little heed. It's not that easy. Yet my motivations for contemplating Dana transcend mere affection. Our prior relationship was but a dalliance to me. She alone invested it with earnest significance. She means nothing to me now, I assert. If she is inconsequential, why then do you persist in seeking her out? He presses. I furrow my brow, a hint of frustration evident as I bite down on my lower lip. I'm struggling to grasp your intended meaning, I retort, seeking clarity amidst the confusion. Blair may have been the chosen one, but that doesn't alter the undeniable truth that your heart. Blaze, I interject, gently halting his train of thought, wanting to address something before we continue. I love Blair, I confess, the words heavy with emotion. As I trail off, unable to articulate the tumultuous thoughts swirling within me, a profound silence descends, echoing the complexity of my feelings. Staring at my reflection in the mirror, I am gripped by a profound sense of bewilderment, a stranger to my actions and motivations. Lost in the depths of uncertainty, I stand immobilized, grappling with the disconcerting realization that I am adrift, uncertain of my path forward. You love her? You never truly hear her words, he accuses, his voice laced with frustration. You don't connect with her on a deeper level. She doesn't fulfill your needs. There's no bond between us, no physical connection. Each word feels like a dagger, piercing through my defenses, causing me to grit my teeth in silent anguish, the weight of his words settling heavily upon me. Did you love Dana? He inquires, diverting my intended discourse. That is of the past, I declare. Answer my question, he insists. I grit my teeth. I did, I admit. Yet the memory has dimmed. Its import escaped me, I dissemble, though the genuineness of my former love remains vivid. In youth, innocence clouded my judgment, heedless of power and pack problems. So you've chosen to wed a woman responsible for the death of the parents of the one you once loved. You fail to comprehend, I interject sharply. I married her for the pack's prosperity, I clarify. She serves a purpose. Her pack commands respect. You're insinuating that you're merely using her, yet I must remind you that the Black River pack isn't the one being exploited here. You had the opportunity to resolve your issues with the Sunflower Pack. I know what I'm doing, Blaze, I assert, forcefully pushing his doubts aside as I douse myself in perfume, hastily adjusting my attire and grooming my hair before turning my back to the mirror. With purposeful strides, I exit the dressing room, only to be startled by the unexpected presence of Blair on the first floor, catching me off guard. Accompanying her is a man of similar age, evoking a scant reaction from my cohorts, Ander and Drake, who stand beside them. They make no effort to summon me, preoccupied with providing the newcomer refreshment. I feel oddly numb. I silently observe Blair and the man beside her. Despite not knowing their exact relationship, they appear at ease with each other. As I make my way downstairs, their attention shifts to me, their gazes meeting mine, sparking a moment of silent tension. Alpha, Ander and Drake intone, satisfaction evident in their countenances. Honey, Blair greets me with a smile, darting forward to peck my cheek. I return the gesture with a smile, joining her as we approach the man clad in black, regarding me with a congenial smile. He bows before proffering his hand. I'm Justin, a childhood friend of the Lunas, used to be her knight, and your name will suffice, I interject, shaking his hand. Detecting his discomfort, I offer a small smile. Ah, yes, pleasure to meet you, Alpha, he responds, retracting his hand. Why were you chosen to accompany my wife? I inquire, noting his nervous demeanor. Ah, the Black River Pack received your message and the information Blair provided about the potential conflict with the other pack. The Alpha has been occupied with his other duties, trying to align with your plans, and Blair chose to be with me, he relayed. His manner of speaking is both formal and gentle, with a touch of nervousness and happiness evident in his voice. His hands are shaking. I smile. Blair chose you? Aries POV. I direct my gaze to her, receiving a confirming nod and smile. Yes, refer to her as Luna, I interject, prompting a cough from Blair. He may address me by name. We're well acquainted, and he is no longer my knight. He stands beside me, she asserts, prompting a nod from me as I shift focus to Ander and Drake, their confusion apparent. Is that all? I query. Did your father convey any message? I turn back to Blair. She hesitates. He desires a meeting tomorrow, inclusive of the entire pack. He wishes for full awareness and preparedness. She relays, her words rapid. I nod in acknowledgement. A meeting with your father tomorrow, I echo. Additionally, the Moonhowlers pack seeks your counsel. They perennially seek aid, I interject, turning to Ander. Handle it. They're under your purview, I decree. Both Ander and Drake acquiesce. I shall draft a missive for them, Ander mumbles. Perhaps a gathering is to apprise all concerned parties and fortify our defenses, Blair suggests, to which I nod in agreement, hand slipping into my pocket. An excellent proposal, I commend. I must make some calls regarding this matter. What calls? Can I assist? No need. Entertain your best friend, I indicate Justin with a smile, noting his trepidation before stepping away. Then we'll take off. Ander and Drake declare before departing to attend to their respective tasks. As Blair moves to speak, I briskly turn away, striding out of the pack and seeking solace in a quieter corner. Before long, Patrick, one of the pack's warriors, hurries over to me, sensing my need for solitude. Any word from Zero? I inquire, referencing my spy. No, Alpha, he responds. I took a deep breath. He's concealed in the woods, gathering intel. It's perilous. My interruption was to say, he is doing an excellent job. I could see his face in a state of shock as I spoke. Well, Patrick's words were cut off by Blair's words. I guess that conversation with a warrior isn't as important as mine. I can see the fear in Patrick's eyes. Alpha, I must take my leave, he murmurs, head bowed. Keep me apprised, I instruct Sotavoce, prompting a nod before he bows to Blair and departs. It's just Blair and me now. What is the purpose of your presence here? A smile spread across my face as I looked at her. Did you just leave your best friend for a question that you probably already know the answer to? She rolled her eyes and pushed me against the wall. Her voice is filled with longing as she whispers, I miss you and your smell. We've spent ample time together, I reply softly as her touch grazes my cheek and lips. I avert my gaze. Are you jealous that I brought my friend here? I raised my eyebrows in disgust. It makes no sense for me to be jealous of a man whose level is so far below mine. I smile, not wanting to offend her. Dana POV, day by day, I find myself drawing closer to Bathel. On days when we're not as close, I still feel a sense of comfort in his presence, though I struggle to articulate why. He advises me to remain composed during these times. The pack has bolstered its defenses with additional gatekeepers, and Bathel patrols diligently at night, ensuring no trespassers, human or otherwise. Right now, I prefer not to dwell on these matters. My focus lies solely on my workout regimen. I find myself in the pack's expansive exercise facility, akin to a gym, but on a grander scale. While some Omegas hone their punching techniques, I concentrate on stretching my muscles. You require refinement, I flinch as Divine approaches. My attempts to move my body come to a halt. I bite my lower lip. Well, I am working on it, I state, and she smirks. Really? She whispers. Yeah, I'm not trying to criticize you, she said, but it seems you don't realize the privilege you have here, one that others don't. You need to be grateful for that and prove you deserve it. I take a deep breath. I understand what you're saying, and I'm aware of it. I'm striving to be the best version of myself, and I hope you can see that. I can't see anything, she states, her voice chilling, causing my heart to race. Well, I confidently say, biting my lip. Show me how, I command with a firm tone, running my fingers through my hair. Show me what you've learned, I whisper. She smiled. What kind of? She asked. I know I can't demonstrate everything I've learned in just a few minutes, she added, seemingly attempting to undermine me. I took a deep breath, striving to regain my composure and confidence. Well, anything you think would be worthwhile to show me, I said, tucking my hair behind my ear. A smile formed on her face. Good choice of words, she whispered. I'll show you what I've learned. Those lessons were earned through tears, and I've never had the privilege of an easy path, she lamented, and I simply watched her without saying a word. She suddenly faced the punching bag, and then glanced back at me. With swift movements, she smacked it. Despite not being too close, her speed and force were evident in the powerful punch. I could hear and see the impact clearly, and even my heart seemed to feel it. I can hear the beat of your heart from here, she said. I clenched my jaw, the tension palpable in the air. "Do you hate me?" I ask, my tone dripping with sarcasm. She furrows her brows, considering my question. "I never asked Anna about that. Everything I know about it all came from Anna. But I've decided to carve out my own identity, separate from hers. I've chosen to be colder, to show more respect to her and the alpha," she responds. "You know what? I want you to try to smack me so I can see if your health has improved." Her words are cut short as I lunge forward, punching her face without another word. I'm taken aback as she falls, her hand instinctively reaching to her cheek, obvious pain etched on her face. She looks at me, but I remain silent. "Did I make any improvement, Divine?" I ask, my tone icy. Dana POV. She tries to get up, but suddenly Raphael, the Gamma, arrives and reaches for her hands. "I don't need your help," she says, anger evident in her eyes. Raphael smiles. "Here you are again, putting on a tough act. There's no need for it anymore. It's obvious you've been defeated," he says, teasing her before walking away, leaving Divine seething with rage. Despite the pain she's in, she looks at me. I don't feel anything in my hand. I'm not sure what I just did, but I feel a strange satisfaction in having done it to her. I recall Anna's words, "Consider that causing harm to someone may ultimately benefit you." "You never answered my question," I state. She gulps, meeting my gaze. "You did," she admits. "You did a good job," she awkwardly adds before turning her back to me. "Don't you want to watch me?" I inquire. She turns to face me once more. "That's not the time for that," she states firmly, and I can't help but smirk as she walks away. Did I just make the only Divine feel pain? "I guess you've made some improvements," she says happily, but I don't even show my happiness. But finally, a smile creeps onto my face as I realize that I'm slowly making progress. I'm gradually gaining the strength I need. I glance towards the doorway where Divine exited, but my heart skips a beat when Bathel enters with his beta, Adrian. They're whispering something, but I'm too focused on Bathel's features. I can't seem to tear my gaze away from him, and the excitement coursing through me feels undeniable, yet somehow wrong. Of course, I don't like him, and I'm well aware that my heart still belongs to the man who hurt me. I can't allow myself to fall in love with a man I can never have again. I have to focus on myself, I whisper to myself as I try to stretch my arms, but I don't expect to hit someone behind me. I turn around, shocked to see Bathel standing there. I didn't realize I was blocking his way. Embarrassment floods over me, and I take a deep breath. "I'm sorry." "You're doing a great job," he interrupts me, his voice drowning out mine. The compliment feels different when it comes from him. "Alpha Bathel," I whisper. "Thank you," I add. "Well, I'm happy to see you gaining confidence in doing things your way," he states, and I simply nod with a smile. "Well, I just hope it all turns out well," I say, and he walks even closer to me, giving me a chance to study his features more closely. "You can always call me if you want a different level of training," he whispers. "That's good." I awkwardly respond, and a smile forms on his face before he walks past me. I watch him go, still smiling. Hours have passed since I trained alone, and now I find myself in Bathel's private chamber, ready to accept his offer for advanced combat training. It's just the two of us, and the atmosphere feels awkward. As he removes his jacket, I can't help but feel uneasy, prompting me to look away. There's something about him that stirs unfamiliar emotions within me. I notice numerous pictures adorning the walls, and I come across a cute picture of him. A smile tugs at my lips. Despite his youthfulness and the innocence evident in his face, he still exudes a commanding handsomeness. "Are you busy?" His words draw my attention back to him. "Oh, sorry, I just can't help but admire the paintings on the wall," I say with a smile. "Oh, I want to take that off because my ex-girlfriend designed them," he states. His response catches me off guard, and I find myself staring at him, not expecting that revelation. He chuckles. "So, shall we begin?" he asks. I nod eagerly. "Yeah, of course." "I want you to come closer," he orders. I comply, moving closer to him. He touches my shoulder, turning me around so that my back is now facing him, with him positioned behind me. His touch feels different. "I want you to try kicking me in case I try to take you," he whispers, his proximity causing me to gulp nervously. "It's for your safety nowadays," he whispers with a raspy voice, his big, veiny hands covering my mouth. I feel the tightness of his grip around my waist. I gasp, biting his hand and scratching it, almost kicking him before stopping myself. I laugh unexpectedly, my head landing on his chest while we both laugh softly together. I gulp nervously as I slowly turn to face him, my eyes locking onto his beautiful face, those enticing lips. He gazes back at me, and I remain still as he gently cups both of my cheeks, his eyes dropping to my lips. I find myself looking at his lips too. It's as if we both understand what we want to happen, but neither of us can bring ourselves to say it. He draws his face slowly closer to mine. I close my eyes, hoping his lips will meet mine, yet simultaneously fearing the potential consequences of this action. But there's no kiss. Instead, I feel his lips against my ear. "Bad idea," he whispers. "Indeed, a bad idea," I awkwardly respond, avoiding his gaze. Dana POV. The sensation of nearly kissing an alpha seems like a misstep, and the most extraordinary occurrence in my revamped existence. Ever since that evening, he ceased his training sessions with me, honoring my decision as I fled from his quarters to confine myself to my room for the entirety of the day. Facing him once more daunts me. I'm at a loss for my thoughts at that moment. I'm resolved not to fall in love again, and that's a stance I'm adamant about maintaining. He isn't my destined partner, and engaging in any form of physical interaction is off limits for me. I am just lying down in my bed. My mind was a whirlpool of thoughts, swirling with everything that had happened and all the emotions tied to those events. The ceiling above me offered no answers, just a blank canvas for my restless mind to project its worries and hopes onto. "Isn't it about time you left this room?" Shia suggests, yet my spirits remain dampened. "In a bit," I responded faintly, closing my eyes. "That doesn't mean anything, right?" she questioned, her tone suggesting she was searching for reassurance rather than providing it. "Bathel isn't our destined partner, and I believe that harming yourself over this isn't wise," she added, prompting me to lift my head in contemplation of her words. "I'd rather not revisit those thoughts," I exhaled sharply, struggling to rise yet lacking the will to do so. "Truly?" She inhaled deeply. "Atlas, his wolf, possesses great power and ferocity. There's an undeniable tension between you two, albeit different from what Ares stirred." "Enough." I managed to sit upright on the bed. "Maybe you're right," I said, running my fingers through my hair. "It's pointless to dwell on this and lock myself away when there are important things to deal with. Bathel is probably just being his usual self. He probably acts like this with all the girls," I scolded myself, pushing myself to stand up from the bed. Shia let out a deep sigh, likely rolling her eyes in exasperation at my self-criticism and indecision. "I'll always be here for you, Dana, but overthinking because of a past betrayal is unnecessary. I've experienced pain too, and though it was unforeseen, but—" "Shia, it's irrelevant," I cut her off. "Mulling over the worst-case scenarios isn't doing me any favors," I murmured to myself, catching a glimpse of my reflection in the mirror. "I'm okay," I reassured myself with a faint smile, trying to project confidence despite the turmoil within. Suddenly, a knock on the door jolted me out of my thoughts, sending a shiver down my spine. "Dana?" Anna's voice called out, breaking the silence and pulling my attention towards the door. Panic surged through me as I quickly tidied my hair, attempting to present a more composed facade despite the turmoil within. "Are you in there?" she pressed, her voice sounding closer now, increasing my sense of urgency to compose myself. "Yes!" I replied with a sense of urgency, hastening to the door and swinging it open to reveal Anna standing there, her expression a mix of concern and curiosity. She greeted me with a puzzled look, her gaze sweeping over me from head to toe as if trying to decipher the tumult of emotions hidden beneath my hastily arranged exterior. "You've skipped meals since the morning," she observed. "But I'm okay." "No, you need to come with me," she interjected, her tone assertive and her gaze compelling, leaving no room for refusal. I nodded, albeit nervously. "Okay, sure. I just need to sort a few things." "That's unnecessary. An Omega can handle it if you're agreeable." Her insistence widened my eyes before she took my hand. "Oh, I'll attend to it later," I mumbled as we began walking down the hallway, and she eventually released my hand. "What's going on?" she queried. I maintained a facade of normalcy. "What do you mean? All is well," I claimed, focusing ahead. "Bathel had plans to train with you yesterday, but I observed your sudden departure without so much as a word to him." She paused, her tone pensive. I was genuinely hopeful upon hearing about your progress from Divine, who, despite still being cautious of your punch, acknowledged improvements. However, Bathel hasn't brought up the topic of you since then, she sighed, a crease forming on her forehead as she rubbed it in frustration. Her words plunged me into disappointment. I hadn't anticipated Bathel feeling equally awkward and uncomfortable about the incident. I had hoped he'd simply move past it and maintain our previous camaraderie. Hey, the reality hit me. Yes? I looked away. Did something happen? She probed again, catching me off guard just as we arrived at the PAX cafeteria, the sudden shift in conversation leaving me momentarily flustered. She had already arranged a seat and table for me. I took my seat and she joined me. You haven't answered my question, I noted, my attention on the food before us. I faced her. Nothing, I laughed it off. I decided last minute that I needed a break, hence my absence, and Bathel and I are fine. I offered her a reassuring smile and began eating my cereal, aware of her watchful gaze. Well, she hesitated, biting her cheek. I'm clueless about the specifics, so I'll take your word for it. That explains Bathel's silence. She shook her head, and my anxiety spiked. The realization struck me like a bolt of lightning. I needed to speak with him, no matter how daunting the prospect seemed. I didn't want our relationship to turn awkward. Where is he? I inquired, turning to her. She raised her eyebrows. He mentioned a meeting with another pack alongside his beta, but I doubt he's departed yet. He's likely in his office or quarters. She speculated, leaving me uncertain about my next steps. I should speak with him. The awareness of others' stares and whispers was jarring. Dana POV, she's mingling with the influential. Yeah, what makes her so special? One voice piped up. Sure, she seems nice, but she's just an ordinary girl. Does she deserve all these privileges? Their laughter cut through the air, but Anna's response was swift and decisive, her authoritative stance silencing them with a single look. Why waste your time gossiping instead of enjoying your meal? I attempted to placate Anna, but she remained resolute, her determination unwavering. The culprits, clearly intimidated, made a hasty retreat, leaving an indelible impression of Shia's fury and her readiness to confront them. Anna, I whispered. She dismissed the departing girls with a roll of her eyes. I'll teach them a lesson later, she declared, running her fingers through her hair. I offered a sheepish smile. That's not necessary. This is why you struggle to assert your strength. You're too accepting of others' pointless judgments, she interjected, leaving me speechless. I'm sorry. You mentioned wanting to talk to my brother, she hesitated. While I'm curious about the reasons, I believe it's a wise decision, she approached me. You can confide in me, Dana, whenever you feel ready, she reassured, placing her hands on my shoulders. Her gesture brought a smile to my face. Of course, I replied, though nerves tinged my voice, which I couldn't conceal from her. There's nothing amiss. I attempted to reassure her, downplaying my previous night's actions with a laugh. You're free to go, she encouraged, offering me an opportunity to depart from the uncomfortable situation. With a nod, I turned away, leaving the cafeteria behind. My heart raced as I grappled with the overwhelming events, stirring up a storm of fears and uncertainties within me. The thought of jeopardizing my relationship with Bathel was unbearable, especially with the rumors and negative talk swirling around me. Despite feeling undeserving of any goodness, according to the whispers, Bathel was my solace, the one who made me feel secure. The risk of souring what we had was something I couldn't face. I stood outside his office, contemplating whether to knock or retreat. Fear gripped me, holding me back from taking the next step. Memories of Ares and his betrayal of Blair flooded my mind, the pain still fresh and raw. I couldn't shake the feeling of betrayal, but I had to remind myself that Bathel was not Ares. Despite the fear gnawing at me, I knew I had to confront him. I shouldn't be concerned about whether he's with someone else now. It's not his burden to bear my traumas. I find myself repulsed by my feelings. Just as I was about to leave, turning back towards the hallway, I didn't anticipate him standing there, looking impeccably dressed in formal attire. His presence caught me off guard, freezing me in place as I struggled to process the unexpected encounter. Dana, why are you here? He inquired, his voice breaking the tense silence that enveloped us. Bathel, I stuttered, overwhelmed by his familiar scent, which weakened me. "Do you need something?" he began to ask, his tone neutral but with a hint of curiosity, as if trying to understand the reason for my presence. "No," I said, shaking slightly. I need to talk to you," I managed to add. He looked puzzled. "About what?" He seemed to have forgotten our recent troubles, leaving me unsure whether to feel relieved or not. "I despise this feeling," I admitted softly, looking away. Facing him once more, I murmured an apology. "I'm sorry if I'm intruding," I conceded, feeling a pang of guilt for potentially disrupting his peace. He suggested another time, but insisted, "No, talk to me now," his authoritative tone rendering me powerless. I gathered my courage, aware of the palpable tension. It was a mix of fear and anticipation. "I hate this awkwardness," I confessed. "You're not even smiling at me, which feels like I've lost a friend. It angers me because I shouldn't be feeling this way." I blurted out, "I might be overreacting since it's only been a few hours since we last spoke, but I've thought about this deeply. Your demeanor and gaze have changed, and I fear losing people, especially as I grow closer to you," I revealed, embarrassed, yet noticing his attentive gaze. Before I could continue, he softly asked, "Friends?" My heart raced. "I'm not sure if you see me that way." "I like you, Dana," he cut in, his gaze steady and earnest, showing no signs of nervousness. My heart fluttered, our eyes locked. In that moment, it felt like our hearts were intertwined, his every word etching into my memory. "Ever since you saved me, I've been looking for you. You pulled me back from the brink of despair," he said with a significant pause, his eyes conveying deep emotion. "I once thought we were destined for each other, but you're bound to someone else." His voice faltered, unable to form a response, paralyzed by fear. "After thinking I could move on without seeing you again, something unexpected happened," he admitted, his tone reflecting a mix of vulnerability and awe. "I ended up being there for you when you needed help, like fate had a hand in it." His eyes softened as he spoke, drawing nearer as he shared this revelation, as if wanting to bridge any distance between them. "Bathel," I whispered, lowering my gaze. "I understand," he replied gently. "You don't have to reciprocate my feelings, knowing your heart belongs to someone you've grown up with." "Bathel, stop," I interjected, our eyes meeting again. Feeling his hand brush against mine, a surge of courage coursed through me, and without hesitation I clasped his hand firmly in mine. My heart raced, caught off guard by his unexpected admission. "What if I told you," I started, my voice trembling slightly with nerves, "that I've been feeling the same way?" The confession felt like a weight lifted off my chest, laying bare the emotions I had been holding back. Aries POV. As I stroll through the woods, my thoughts drift to the possibility of encountering unwanted visitors. Suddenly I come to a stop as I spot a familiar figure with long hair, standing alone. Her scent fills the air, instantly triggering memories. It's Dana. Confusion washes over me as I try to comprehend why she's here in my pack's territory. Despite her decision to leave after I rejected her, she's back, and I can't fathom her motives. Emotions swirl inside me, and I'm torn between wanting to understand and feeling guarded. Taking a deep breath, I gather my courage and call out to her, breaking the silence that hangs between us. "Dana?" She spun around with a bright smile upon seeing me. "Aries," she exclaimed happily, rushing toward me. I didn't even flinch, though I expected her to wrap me in a hug. Strangely, I didn't stop her, despite my usual dislike for physical touch. It was odd, considering my general disdain for trespassers and discomfort with close contact. "What are you doing here?" I asked, my tone chilly, determined not to let her think I cared about her presence. She arched an eyebrow in surprise. "What kind of question is that?" she gasped softly. "I miss you." Her hand brushed against mine, sending a jolt through me. Despite my resistance, her touch felt strangely comforting, igniting an unexpected flurry of emotions within me. She gazed at me, tears welling up in her eyes. "Do you miss me too?" she asked, her voice quivering with vulnerability. "We're over," I stated firmly. "Yes, we're over, but that doesn't mean you don't love me anymore, right?" she countered, her touch lingering on my hand. I initially intended to pull away, but instead I found myself holding on to her tightly. I shook my head, avoiding her question. "I am married to someone else now," I whispered, my voice barely audible. "It means I don't care about you anymore." Despite my words, I held on to her tightly, as if afraid she might slip away. "What are you doing?" she asked, confusion evident in her eyes. I met her gaze, feeling a surreal sense of familiarity wash over me. "Where have you been?" I finally asked, unable to contain my curiosity any longer. "You're married to someone else now, and you don't care about me," she cried out, pushing me away. Despite her resistance, I grabbed her hand and pulled her into a back hug. "No, I don't want this. It's against everything I've convinced myself of. But her presence feels like my comfort zone, and I hate that it does." Closing my eyes, I reluctantly admitted to myself that her embrace felt strangely comforting, even as I felt like I was losing my mind. "Dana," I muttered, feeling as though the words escaped my lips without me consciously speaking them. Suddenly, she vanished, and darkness enveloped me, yet I still felt the sensation of embracing her. Slowly, I opened my eyes, realizing it was all just a dream. I found myself lying next to Blair, holding her in my arms instead. I felt a wave of dizziness wash over me as I withdrew my hand from Blair's and reached to turn on the lights. The shifting time was upon me. As the room flooded with light, I sensed my wolf stirring within me, ready to take control. The early morning light cast shadows across the room as I made my way naked to the bathroom. Last night had been rough, with the need to patrol the woods and ensure the safety of the pack weighing heavily on my mind. Before that, I had endured the torment of dreaming about Dana, a painful reminder of the past that lingered even in my sleep. As I stepped into the bathroom, I was taken aback to find Blair already there, also naked. Despite my surprise, she greeted me with a smile, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Reminding myself not to overreact, I continued with my routine, allowing the water from the shower to cascade over me. "Hey," she said softly, reaching out to touch my cheek. "Can we have breakfast with Justin? Also, my father is coming," Blair mentioned casually as she let the water flow over her body, soaping up as she spoke. I murmured in response, running my fingers through my hair. I tilted my head back, letting the water wash over my face, closing my eyes momentarily. As I did, I felt Blair's hand trailing from my neck down to my abs, the sensation sending a shiver down my spine. "You look so fresh," Blair remarked, her eyes lingering on me as I turned to face her, offering a small smile in return. "Anyway, maybe we can do something interesting." She trailed off, leaning in to kiss my lips. However, I gently pushed her back, halting her advance. "We can do it later, okay?" "I'm not really in the mood right now," I responded gently, noticing the disappointment in her eyes. Despite this, she nodded understandingly. "Sure, honey," she agreed quietly, her voice tinged with a hint of disappointment. As I descend into the pack house, adorned in attire that speaks of readiness and composure, Ander accompanies me, his presence commanding respect from those around us. Observing the deferential nods of acknowledgement, I proceed directly to Luna's exclusive kitchen, leaving Ander to his own devices. Within, the atmosphere is lively, with Justin and Blair engaged in animated conversation and laughter. Alpha, Justin's demeanor swiftly shifts upon catching sight of me, promptly rising from his seat to greet me with a respectful bow. Acknowledging his gesture with a nod, I settle into the last available chair across from Blair, with Justin occupying the central position. Taking in the spread before us, replete with opulent delicacies, it's evident that no expense has been spared for this morning's repast. "I couldn't help but notice the abundance of dishes," I remarked casually, taking a bite of the humble pancake before me. Blair's laughter filled the air in response. "I made sure to prepare the deluxe versions of Justin's favorite meals," she replied with evident satisfaction, her joy palpable in her words. I glanced over at Justin, noting his bashful demeanor. "Indeed, this spread is quite lavish and—" Aries POV. "Let's dig in and savor the flavors," I declared, offering Justin a reassuring smile before eating my meal. Without so much as a glance in anyone's direction, the weighty silence hanging in the air gnawed at my nerves. Meeting Blair's gaze, I found her staring back at me, her eye twitching slightly, a telltale sign of her inner turmoil. "I never imagined my scheme would unfold in such a manner," she confessed, her voice laced with frustration as she drew a deep breath to steady herself. "You should go ahead and eat. I've had my fill," I asserted firmly, dabbing at my mouth with a tissue. Justin observed our exchange with an uneasy expression before hesitantly beginning to eat his meal. Blair looked at me with a hopeful expression, her eyes searching for approval. "Do you like it? You only eat the food I made," she murmured. Realization dawned on me. So that's why she was so invested in my opinion. "Yes, I do," I replied, offering her a reassuring smile. Her face lit up with joy. "Well, I'm glad to hear that," she exclaimed happily, eagerly digging into her meal. As I sipped on a glass of juice, a sense of contentment washed over me, filling me up. Suddenly, a notification flashed on my screen, signaling a message from my spy, Zero. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of waiting, glancing discreetly at Blair, who was still smiling as she enjoyed her meal, I seized the opportunity to discreetly open the message. "Dana is indeed in Sunflower's pack, but I don't know what kind of relationship she has with the Alpha. It seems like she was saved." I felt as though the world had shifted on its axis upon seeing her name, Dana. The mere mention of her name stole my breath away. She was alive. Contrary to my fears and the haunting dreams that tormented me, she had survived. Yet, instead of relief, an overwhelming sense of unease washed over me as I realized she was now within the territory of the man who coveted everything I possessed. "Anyway, later, Dad will." "I have to leave immediately," I declared, rising from my seat with a sense of urgency, intending to speak with Patrick. Blair's eyebrows shot up in surprise. "But it's still early, and don't you think we should spend more time together? You should get to know Justin better." "I've gotten to know him well enough," I interjected firmly. "You seem comfortable with him, so I trust you're safe in his presence," I added without hesitation. "She's safe with me, yes," Justin whispered. Meeting Blair's eyes with a reassuring smile, I whispered, "And that's settled," before swiftly making my way out of the room. As I hurried through the lobby, intent on leaving the pack house, I was taken aback to find Hernando, Blair's father, standing in the entryway. Accompanied by his beta, Newt, Hernando's early arrival caught me off guard. Not even my beta and gamma were aware of his impending visit. The bustling activity in the pack house ground to a halt as everyone paused to pay their respects with bowed heads. Without a word directed towards me, Hernando acknowledged the deferential gestures with a nod before proceeding inside. Suppressing a surge of frustration, I clenched my jaw and followed in his wake. "Where shall we speak?" Hernando inquired once we were inside, prompting me to power off my phone. "In the conference room, Hernando," I replied tersely, leading the way to our destination. In the conference room, the tension was palpable as Hernando, his beta Newt, Ander, Drake, and I sat, with Hernando and I positioned opposite each other. "Blair is unaware of my unexpected visit," Hernando remarked, a chuckle punctuating his statement. Returning his laughter with a wry smile, I remarked, "Well, she's occupied with her best friend." "I'm aware," Hernando interjected, cutting off my response. "Is there something specific you need?" I inquired, attempting to steer the conversation forward. "This isn't about personal matters, Alpha Aries," Newt interjected with a steely gaze, indicating a more serious purpose behind their visit. "You never disclosed the ongoing tension with the Sunflower Pack," Hernando remarked, his tone carrying a weight of seriousness. "I had considered leveraging their resources. They're formidable rivals, and their alpha could pose a challenge to you." "I have no interest in such endeavors," I replied firmly, unmoved by Newt's incredulous reaction. "Explain your connection with them," Hernando commanded, his tone brooking no argument. "In the past, there were hostilities between our families," I explained, recalling the turbulent history. "My parents clashed with theirs, resulting in casualties on both sides. Their current alpha harbors grievances from that era and seeks retribution, but I refuse to entertain the notion of reconciliation. Accepting them would betray the legacy of my predecessors and undermine my position as alpha." "An enemy remains an enemy," I declared with conviction. "Regardless of my feelings towards my parents, their allies will remain steadfast, and their adversaries will be mine as well. Bathel, their alpha, is a manipulative adversary who seeks to orchestrate my downfall through his petty schemes," I asserted vehemently, my hands striking the table with force. "I fear neither Bathel nor the Sunflower Pack," I proclaimed defiantly, my resolve unwavering in the face of their perceived threats. Hernando's laughter broke the tension in the room, his amusement evident as he addressed me. Calm down, Alpha Aries. I understand your perspective. While many packs may wish for your downfall, the Sunflower Pack is not to be underestimated, he remarked, a smirk playing on his lips. I am well aware, I murmured, my voice tinged with resignation. I had no desire to continue speaking, but I know how to handle Bathel, I continued in a hushed tone, determined to assert my control over the situation. He's been playing these childish games since our youth, sending letters and little else. Yet I am privy to his weaknesses and how he once sought an alliance through desperate measures, I confided, revealing my strategy to counter his tactics. He believes his autonomy makes him superior simply because he governs his pack independently from mine. I scoffed derisively. Aries POV. We require your input regarding the details of your strategy, Newt reiterated on behalf of Hernando, prompting me to focus my attention on him. In response, I merely regarded him with a steady gaze, silently acknowledging his request. Ander chimed in with a laugh. The Moonstone Pack is never short on ingenuity. Drake nods. Now, I don't intend to pressure you into discussing something you consider trivial, Hernando remarked, chewing on the inside of his cheek thoughtfully. Rather, I would prefer a private conversation with you, he continued, and without hesitation, Newt exited the room. Without waiting for my response, he continued, I believe it's time we address the matter concerning his pack. With a solemn nod, Ander and Drake rose from their seats and quietly exited the room. As the door closed behind them, leaving Hernando and me alone, he posed a straightforward question. Are you interested in negotiating terms with his pack? No, I stated firmly. I have no interest in engaging in a conflict with his pack. I'm not even aware of his grievances against me. I simply harbor no feelings towards him, his parents, or his pack. My allegiance lies solely with my pack, I emphasized. I refuse to stoop to his level, I continued, frustration coloring my tone. He serves as a prime example of an inept alpha, I concluded with disdain. Just so you're aware, I have a formidable force of skilled warriors at my disposal, and they're more than capable of joining forces if need be, Hernando assured me, his gaze unwavering as he mentioned his daughter's name. Perplexed, I inquired, what exactly do you mean? My daughter is no ordinary Luna confined to domestic duties. She possesses the strength and prowess befitting an alpha, despite being a woman, Hernando explained, pride evident in his voice. She alone could vanquish the alpha of the Sunflower Pack. However, Bathel is cunning and possesses a wealth of strategies to outmaneuver her, he added, acknowledging the challenges we faced. Despite her youth, my daughter has proven herself capable of vanquishing numerous adversaries, so underestimate her at your peril. Treat her with the respect she deserves. Hernando's words struck me like a cold shock. His daughter was responsible for the deaths of Dana's parents and countless others. That's precisely how I've treated her, I responded tersely, my mind reeling from the revelation. I hope so. I trust you won't disregard the plans I have in mind for you and her. The two of you are meant to consummate and strengthen our pack's legacy. Do not let it falter. Forge a bond that will make our pack unstoppable, Hernando urged, emphasizing the importance of our alliance and the future of our lineage. Dana POV. Bathel, his eyes filled with confusion, inquired, Could you elaborate on that? As I scanned the room, his unwavering gaze remained fixed on me. Turning back to him, I expressed, I'm not entirely familiar with the sensations of liking or loving someone, because my experiences in that pack have been tainted by deception, so I apologize. My voice trembled as I spoke, and I instinctively pressed my fingertips against my forehead, catching his attention. I'm here to listen, he murmured. Feel free to share. Grimacing, I bit down on the inside of my cheek. Though I comprehend the feeling of liking someone, what eludes me is discerning whether your words hold truth. I confessed, locking eyes with him, tears welling up but refusing to fall. His gentle touch grazed my cheek, igniting a flurry of emotions within me. I could never fake anything with you, Dana, he whispered tenderly. You don't deserve to be played like this. Each word he spoke seemed to quicken the rhythm of my heart. A rush of happiness flooded through my veins. All my life, I have yearned for someone to truly appreciate me. After the pain and devastation inflicted by Aries, I began to doubt my worth, fearing that I might never be worthy of love. I allowed his touch to linger, and I confessed, when I'm with you, I forget about everyone else. It's a feeling I've never experienced with anyone else. My words tumbled out in a rush. You leave me breathless, and I can't help but feel nervous and self-conscious around you. His fingers began to gently twirl strands of my hair. I reach up to touch his hand resting against my cheek. I continued, my voice faltering slightly. Because of you, I find myself drifting away from the pain of my past, and all I can think about is you. As I spoke, my lips brushed against his palm, and I closed my eyes, lost in the moment. The tension between our wolf instincts was palpable as his hand slid down to my waist. I never imagined I'd get to see you up close like this, he murmured, his voice laden with depth and urgency. I couldn't help but smirk. What do you mean? I'm just a regular person, and you're... For me, you're not just someone, he cut in, pulling me even closer. Stunned, our faces mere inches apart, I found myself smiling at his words, though the realization of his impending meeting with another pack lingered in the back of my mind. I don't know what's going to happen next. I just want to hold you forever, he confessed, his sincerity evident in his tone, even as the reality of his other commitments loomed overhead. But you have a meeting. I attempted to interject, but he cut me off, his voice soft yet determined as he held me tightly. This is more important, he whispered earnestly, his embrace reassuring. I just need to hear. I want to be with you, I declared, my words reflecting my desire to prioritize our connection above all else. I know I'm desperate to be loved, and I know that Bathel can fulfill that for me, and I do like him back. Am I hearing the right words right now? His voice was soft, yet beneath the surface I could sense the depth of his desperation, as if he longed for this conversation just as much as I did. Dana POV, I want to start a new life with you. I want to experience what it feels like to be loved by someone who truly cares for me. I whispered, allowing the words to flow from my heart and mind, knowing that I was speaking sincerely. I didn't want to utter empty words. I was conveying my genuine feelings to him. Despite my hands trembling with nervousness, I remained steadfast in my truthfulness. He pulled me closer, holding me tightly against his body. His words were filled with disbelief as he shook his head. This feels like a dream, he murmured, his hands slipping away from me. It feels like we've just met, and I don't want you to feel pressured or forced to like me back, he began, but I interrupted him, reaching out to touch him in return. Despite the uncertainty, I felt a sense of comfort in his presence, and as our eyes met, I confessed, I already told you what I feel, Bathel. I like you too. You're testing me. He whispered, his tone tinged with a mix of disbelief and desire as he pushed me against the wall. I yielded to his advance, allowing him to press me against the wall. With a surge of boldness, I reached out and grabbed his necktie, pulling him closer as I kissed his lips passionately. He responded eagerly, and our kiss deepened, consuming us both in the moment. With closed eyes, I pushed aside any thoughts of the past, focusing only on the intense connection shared between Bathel and me, leaving behind all memories of moments with Aries. Amid our passionate embrace, my thoughts were consumed entirely by Bathel. Every touch, every kiss sent waves of pleasure coursing through my body, and I found myself completely lost in the moment. His hands caressed my waist, igniting a fire within me, while his lips trailed lower, planting tender kisses on my neck. I closed my eyes, unable to contain a soft moan as I surrendered to the sensations enveloping me. You're running out of time, I gasped, the urgency in my voice heightening as he continued to explore and tantalize me. It's my weakness, neck kisses. As he abruptly halted his ministrations, confusion swept over me. I couldn't fathom what had prompted him to cease, but the need within me still burned fiercely. My wolf was in heat, and the overwhelming sensation left me feeling drained and vulnerable. What are you doing? I inquired, my voice tinged with uncertainty. Pressing his forehead to mine, he spoke softly. Are you sure you want to do this? I stole a fleeting kiss from his lips, my desire evident in the gesture. I want this, I affirmed, reaching out to trace his lips with my fingertips. He responded with another kiss, filled with passion, though it was all too brief. I want you to think more about it, Dana, he urged gently. I want us to get to know each other better. There are things I still want to experience with you. His words held a depth of meaning that I couldn't fully grasp, but I understood the underlying message. He wasn't ready to take our relationship to a more intimate level, and I respected his honesty and restraint. My desperation had clouded my judgment, but he was right to encourage patience and deliberation. Nodding in agreement, I offered a shy smile, feeling somewhat awkward. His hand gently gripped my chin, coaxing me to meet his gaze. "I want to see you tonight," he declared, glancing at his wristwatch to check the time. I nodded, returning his smile. "Alpha? You're 10 minutes late. We have to go now," Adrian interjected upon entering the room. "I'll be there," Bathel replied, unfazed by the interruption. I could sense the surprise on Adrian's face at the sight of us in such proximity. "So," I murmured, feeling a rush of excitement at the thought of seeing him later. He kissed my lips before stepping away with a nod, leaving me feeling breathless and flushed. "Oh my God," I whispered to myself, my heart still racing as I watched him depart. "He's meant to be." As I made my way to the PAC's lobby, Shia's exclamation, "He's a second chance mate," filled me with a sense of joy and hope for the future. As I pondered the possibilities, uncertainty gnawed at me. Could I truly be Bathel's chosen mate, or was I merely a temporary distraction until his true mate ascended to the role of Luna? The thought left me feeling uneasy, and my nerves only heightened when I spotted Anna standing, engaged in conversation with Bathel before he departed with his beta. Approaching her cautiously, I stood beside her, bracing myself for the conversation that lay ahead. "How have you been?" Anna asked, her gaze fixed elsewhere. "We talked so well," I replied, recalling our previous interactions with a hint of happiness. Abruptly, she turned to me, her expression one of confusion. "What happened to you?" she inquired. Perplexed, I shrugged. "What do you mean?" I asked, uncertain of where she was going with this. "You look like a mess. Your hair is disheveled and you're sweaty," she remarked, her tone laced with disgust as she gave me a disdainful look. My throat tightened, and I instinctively ran a hand through my hair in an attempt to smooth it down. I chuckled at her assumption. No one attacked me, especially not those girls," I assured her, still amused by the thought. She nodded, seemingly relieved. "Well, it's nice to hear that," she mumbled. "Thanks," I replied with us, "but you should go fix yourself. I have something to attend to, and you can resume training," she suggested. I nodded in agreement, grateful for the chance to compose myself. "Of course," I replied, rising to my feet and preparing to rectify my appearance before continuing with my activities. Feeling a mix of curiosity and apprehension, I took a deep breath as I picked up the letter that awaited me in my room. "You should see me at 8 p.m. tonight. Dana, POV." As the clock strikes 8 p.m. and the evening shadows deepen, my mind is consumed by thoughts of the mysterious letter I received earlier. Bathel's silence regarding our rendezvous in the woods amplifies my curiosity, yet his promise of seeing each other tonight lingers in my mind, overshadowing any other concerns. The mere notion of not squandering precious time fills me with anticipation, especially if it means encountering Bathel once more. The longing in my heart for his presence is palpable, heightened by the primal connection we share as wolves, a bond unmatched even by Ares. However, contemplating Ares evokes a distinct rhythm in my heart, one that elicits an exasperated roll of my eyes. "I must depart at once," I murmur, the words barely audible. "You cannot venture alone." Shia interjects, her voice tinged with concern. Inhaling deeply, I pause before responding, attempting to muster a facade of strength and assurance. "Consider this. What if it's solely Bathel? My quarters remain untouched by outsiders, and the pack house security ensures no intruders could breach our sanctuary," I asserted, my fingers threading through my hair in a display of resolve. "It's ultimately your decision," Shia remarked, her tone imbued with steadfast loyalty. "Rest assured, I'll remain steadfast by your side, ready to shield you from any potential harm," she pledged. "But I fear my capabilities may falter if," I began, interrupted by Shia's unwavering support. "Thank you, Shia," I interjected, a smile breaking across my face. "But I've made a promise that we'll weather this storm unscathed," I affirmed, the confidence in my voice mirrored by the grin that now adorned my features. The darkness envelops me, instilling a sense of unease as eerie howls echo from distant corners, accompanied by the chirping of unseen insects. With only the piercing gaze of my eyes and Shia's acute senses to guide me, I cautiously navigate through the night. Each step forward is met with a surge of apprehension until I finally arrive at the designated rendezvous point within the woods. A shiver runs down my spine as I swallow hard, feeling the hairs on my body bristle with anticipation. "Bathel?" I call out tentatively, my voice barely above a whisper, eyes darting anxiously around the shadowy surroundings. The fear of attracting unwanted attention from hostile wolves renders me hesitant to raise my voice any louder, fearing the consequences of being discovered by potential threats lurking in the darkness. I reach for my phone in my pocket, hoping for a message from Bathel, but there's nothing. I cursed myself for not asking him or Anna when he'd be back. But asking Anna would have been pointless. She'd never have let me come here in the first place. "This doesn't look good," Shia says, her voice shaky with worry. I know her saying that isn't a good sign, but I refuse to dwell on the negativity. Right now, I need to trust myself. I scan the area, hoping for some clues. "Are you here?" I shout, frustration creeping into my voice as I strain to hear any response in the silent darkness of the woods. Despite the desperation creeping into my tone, I can't suppress the urge to continue calling out. With each shout, I can't shake the feeling that I must seem foolish, like someone searching for trouble in the darkness. But strangely, amidst my vulnerability, there's a flicker of newfound confidence. If danger were to arise, I tell myself, I'm ready to defend myself. It's a realization that lends a hint of strength to my wavering resolve. Aries POV. "It's her. It's Dana," I murmur, my gaze fixated on her transformed presence. She exudes a newfound strength, as though she shed the weight of her past experiences. I find myself unable to tear my eyes away from her, memories flooding back in a rush. Recollections of our initial encounter resurface, vividly contrasting with the sight before me. This time, Dana embodies the very essence of the woman I first perceived her to be, powerful, confident, and unyielding in her resolve. My heart races at the sight of her, her long, resplendent hair framing her face in a cascade of beauty. It's a moment that feels too surreal to be true, yet undeniably real, dispelling any notion of it being a mere dream. Despite severing the physical connection with her, my heart continues to race in her presence, as if it refuses to acknowledge the distance I've created. And yet, even as I try to distance myself, I sense a lingering tether between us, one that transcends mere physical proximity. It's as if my wolf, too, remains bound to her, drawn to her presence by an inexplicable force that defies logic and reason. "Your fated mate," Blaze murmured. Frustration boils over, and Dana's voice pierces the tense silence, echoing through the night as she demands answers. "Show up if you're not Bathel," she yells, her words echoing off the surrounding trees, a desperate plea tinged with a hint of defiance. The realization hits me like a ton of bricks. She's not the same person I once hurt, the one I failed to choose over Blair. It's as if she's undergone a complete transformation. "You must be scared now," she murmurs. Her voice, tinged with anger, resonates through the air, and strangely, it strikes me as beautiful. But amidst the tumult of emotions swirling within me, I can't help but feel lost. What am I even doing here? Aries POV. I've crossed so many lines. Sending her that handwritten letter through Zero was downright illegal. And yet, as she stands here, all she seems to think about is Bathel. It's enough to make me wonder if the rumors are true after all. Shaking my head, I whisper, "No." "Dana?" But then, Bathel's voice cuts through the air, calling out her name, and in that moment, it feels like something within me ceases to function. I watch from my concealed vantage point in the tree, my gaze fixed on the pair below. Dana's face lights up with a radiant smile at the sight of Bathel, a smile I realize I haven't seen directed at me. Despite knowing she once loved me, seeing her expression now fills me with a mixture of longing and resignation. A lump forms in my throat, and my eyes soften as I continue to observe them, the depth of my emotions laid bare in the quiet solitude of the forest. "You had me worried." Dana's voice softens as she reaches out to touch his hand before enveloping him in a warm embrace. My brows knit together in confusion as I watch the scene unfold below. Why is she hugging a man she hasn't known for long? The question lingers in my mind, adding to the perplexity of the situation. He gently plays with her hair, his voice laced with concern as he asks, "What are you doing here?" Dana releases her embrace, meeting his gaze steadily. Were you the one who sent that handwritten letter? She questions, her tone firm yet tinged with uncertainty. It instructed me to meet someone here at 8 p.m., and I followed it. His eyes flash with a sudden emotion, and I can't help but wonder if it's anger that flickers in their depths. No, I didn't, he responds defensively to Dana's accusation. Confusion clouds Dana's expression. But that's impossible, she begins, but he interrupts her by taking her hand firmly in his. We need to return to the pack house immediately, he insists, his tone tinged with urgency and obligation. She nods softly, her eyes reflecting a mix of emotions as she stammers out, "Okay." He tightens his grip on her hand as they begin to walk away, Dana stealing one last glance over her shoulder. My heart quickens as she almost turns in my direction, but then, to my relief, or disappointment, she doesn't. "Where are you?" Anders' voice snaps through the mind link, breaking my reverie abruptly. "Oh well," I murmur, feeling the weight of my inadequacy as I struggle to find the right words. "I'll be back, just patrolling the pack," I lie, forcing confidence into my tone despite the turmoil within. "Just make sure you return. There's something we need to discuss, and Luna is concerned about you," Ander insists, his words falling on deaf ears as my mind remains preoccupied with other thoughts. As I return to the castle, Blair is the first to rush towards me, followed closely by my warriors. "Oh my goddess," she gasps, her expression a mixture of relief and concern. "We've been searching everywhere for you since you met with Dad," she sighs, her worry palpable in her voice. "Just something important," I state vaguely, hoping to divert her attention. Her jaw clenches visibly, and she continues with a steely resolve. "You didn't know that I had someone put in the dungeon level today." My brow furrows in confusion at her revelation. What's happened?" I inquire, my concern growing at the unexpected news. "A man tried to harm me!" Blair exclaims, her voice filled with indignation. "And there was no one there to protect me, so I took matters into my own hands. I nearly killed him, but I decided to give him a chance," she adds, her tone still tinged with frustration. I turn to face Ander and Drake, seeking answers. "Did you know about this?" I ask, my tone betraying a mix of surprise and concern. They both sigh heavily. "Well, at first we didn't know because Luna was in the woods." Blair's frustration cuts through the air like a knife as she rebukes Ander, her words sharp and pointed. "He asked you a simple question. There's no need for excuses," she snaps, her tone tinged with irritation. Drake chimes in with an explanation. "We genuinely didn't know. It's not uncommon for Luna to venture into the deep woods without an escort," he says, attempting to provide some context. His words, however, elicit an exasperated eye roll from me, a silent testament to my weariness with the situation. "I'm just grateful you were able to save yourself," I murmur, the weight of recent events weighing heavily on my mind, sapping my energy and leaving me with little desire to engage further in the conversation. "Do you wish to confront him at least?" she inquired. After a prolonged moment of contemplation, I replied, "Certainly. I should face the man who attempted to harm you and address the situation." Glancing at Ander and Drake, I sensed their reluctance to meet my gaze. Despite their other obligations, they were compelled to comply with Blair's directive, leaving them no alternative. Without further ado, Blair seized my hand, urging, "Let's proceed." As we descend to the dungeon level, the sight that greets us is unsettling. The man stands before us, bloodied and battered, bearing the unmistakable signs of brutal abuse. He has been subjected to a vicious assault, likely at the hands of an alpha. Correction, it was Blair Van Everhart herself who inflicted this punishment upon him. Ares POV. That's him. Of all the audacity, he dared to challenge me. He should count himself lucky he's not the woman I despised, or else I would have ended him. Blair's voice reverberates through the chamber, filled with fury and contempt. The man before us seems to be devoid of any comprehension, his vision perhaps obscured by the injuries he has sustained. I advance towards him in the dimly lit cellar, aware that despite his battered state, he remains conscious and attentive. His fingers twitch and his toes wiggle, indicating that he's still aware, albeit exhausted. "Who are you?" I demand, my voice carrying the weight of my authority as Alpha. He gasps, struggling to form coherent words. "Alpha," he mumbles weakly, his voice barely audible amidst the hushed atmosphere of the dungeon. "I," He begins, but his words falter, his breaths ragged as he struggles to respond. I demand an answer. Who are you, and why did you attempt to harm my Luna? I reiterate, my frustration evident in my tone. However, instead of a coherent response, his attempts at speech are met with tears streaming down his face, a poignant display of his distress. He's just a hapless werewolf, I realize, overwhelmed by his own emotions and the severity of the situation. Damn it. Blair curses, her voice laced with pain. I whirl around to face her, only to be met with the shocking sight of blood staining her dress. A wound on her stomach glistens ominously, a grim testament to the danger she faced. I rush to her side, my heart pounding with concern. It looks serious, I stammer, my words faltering in the face of the grim reality before me. Are you all right? I inquire, gently placing a hand on hers, the worry evident in my touch. No, I'm not, she gasps, her breaths coming in short, pained gasps. Stay with me, I urge softly, lifting her gently into my arms, determined to get her the help she needs as quickly as possible. As I settle Blair onto our bed, I carefully remove her dress, revealing her naked form, save for her underwear and bra. Despite the urgency of the situation, I can't help but gulp nervously. It's a stark reminder of the unfulfilled expectations of our marriage, particularly our shared desire to conceive a child. Yet, I can't shake the fact that I am still a virgin. I had promised myself that my first time would be with Dana, but circumstances led me astray. It's worse, Blair murmurs, a tear escaping her eye, her words piercing through the heavy silence of the room. The healer should, I begin, but Blair cuts me off abruptly. No, I want you, she insists firmly, her gaze locking with mine. Taking a deep breath to steady my nerves, I gather some clean cloth and a dampened cloth. Carefully, I cleanse her wound, the task requiring precision and focus. Once the area is clean, I carefully wrap it with a clean cloth bandage, ensuring it is secure and protected. Despite the gravity of the situation, there's a sense of intimacy in caring for her in this way, a bond that transcends the physicality of our relationship. She gulped nervously, her voice trembling as she spoke. Thank you. It feels much better now, she murmured, her gratitude evident despite the pain lingering in her expression. Sitting down beside her, I can't help but feel a pang of guilt as thoughts of Dana and Bathel invade my mind. It's as if there's no space for anyone else in my thoughts, the image of Dana's happiness with Bathel playing on repeat. And yet, amidst the turmoil of my emotions, I'm acutely aware of the need to find contentment and happiness with Blair, the woman beside me. It's a conflict that weighs heavily on my heart, torn between the past and the present, between what could have been and what is. I'm sorry I wasn't there to protect you, I whisper, my voice heavy with regret and guilt. You don't have to apologize, she responds, her voice equally soft. I can handle myself. I never expected him to hurt me. Whoever he is, I'm certain he's just some pervert, she adds, her words tinged with frustration and indignation. I don't want to entertain the thought that he might be from a larger pack. It would only worry my father, she concludes, her concern for her family is evident in her tone. I won't let him find out, I assure her, determined to protect her from any unnecessary worry. You've always been a fighter, I affirm, my admiration evident in my tone. Blair chuckles softly, her hand reaching out to touch mine. A fighter with a soft spot for you, she adds, a hint of affection coloring her words. As I meet her gaze, I find myself contemplating deeply. If Dana can find happiness despite the pain I caused her, then surely I can find contentment with Blair, knowing that we overcame our challenges together. Despite the complexity of my feelings, I still crave more information about Dana and Bathel. I remind myself that Dana is not mated to him. She was meant to be mated to me. You know I care about you, don't you? I inquired softly, my voice barely above a whisper. A small smile plays on Blair's lips. I'm not sure, she replies, her uncertainty palpable. You were deeply in love with... I'm not, I cut her off. Aries POV. Turning to face her fully, I reach out to gently touch her neck, my actions a silent reassurance of my affection and concern for her well-being. In a moment of unexpected impulse, I find myself kissing her lips, and to my surprise, she responds eagerly, her breaths heavy, and her hands urging me closer. My hands instinctively find their place on her waist as I deepen the kiss, the sensation unfamiliar yet undeniably exhilarating. It's the first time I've kissed her so passionately, and her lips taste different, igniting a fire within me. With my eyes closed, I'm fully immersed in the moment, compelled to continue despite my lingering reservations. I may not feel entirely ready, but I refuse to let fear hold me back any longer. As the kiss progresses, I feel her responding to my touch, her moans of pleasure filling the air as my lips trail down to her neck. At this moment, I realize that I want her to be my first, my heart racing with anticipation as our desires intertwine in a rush of passion. As her voice fills the air with a beauty I've only just discovered, a surge of desire courses through me. My lips trail down to her cleavage, my hands deftly tugging at her waistband, eager to explore every inch of her. I whisper, "This is going to be my first." The words heavy with anticipation and desire as I eagerly explore new territories with her. "It's also mine," she moaned loudly as I hit the spot of her pleasure. Feeling her response to my touch intensify, I press my lips against hers once more, attempting to stifle her moans with a kiss. She eagerly returns the kiss. As she attempts to pull my pants down, I pause, realizing the gravity of the moment. With a sense of restraint, I gently stop her, lying down beside her fully clothed while she remains completely naked, her vulnerability laid bare in the dim light of the room. "What are you doing?" "Blair," I whispered, attempting to steady my racing thoughts. "Don't you want me to join you?" She questions, her voice laden with desire as she leans in closer. "No," I respond, my voice firm but gentle, conveying my reluctance without aggression. At that moment, I'm overwhelmed by a wave of conflicting emotions. While part of me is drawn to Blair and the intimacy we share, another part resists, hesitating to take such a significant step. Despite the desires that simmer between us, I can't shake the feeling that I'm not ready, that there's still something holding me back. As Blair wraps herself in the blanket, I can't help but feel a pang of guilt. She deserves my honesty, yet I struggle to find the right words to explain my hesitation. We sit in silence, the weight of unspoken thoughts hanging heavy in the air, our gazes meeting in a silent exchange of understanding and uncertainty. "What's wrong?" Blair's voice breaks the silence, her concern evident in her tone. I meet her gaze, the weight of my conflicted emotions reflected in my eyes. "Everything," I reply softly, my words heavy with the weight of my uncertainty. She laughs, though there's a hint of confusion in her expression. "What the hell are you talking about?" she asks, her laughter masking the deeper complexities of the situation. "We're supposed to do this. It's not wrong." Blair's voice carries a hint of anger, her eyes flashing with rage as she confronts me. Her jaw clenches tightly as she continues, her words sharp with frustration. "What do you expect from me? Did you marry me just for the sake of your people? What about me and my people?" Her questions hang in the air, challenging me to confront the complexities of our relationship and the motivations behind our union. I feel a pang of discomfort at her words. "I don't like that question," I admit, my voice betraying a hint of defensiveness. "Nevertheless, you still have to answer me," she insists, her tone unwavering as she demands honesty and accountability. Taking a deep breath, I steel myself for what I'm about to say. "That's right," I admit, the words heavy with truth and regret. "I only married you for the alliance. I never liked you, Blair, not in any form, I confess, knowing that my honesty may wound her deeply. But I've come to realize that I've learned to love you," I continue, my voice softer now, laced with sincerity. Aries POV. "It wasn't love at first sight for me. It was a gradual process of learning how to love you, discovering the depths of our connection, and building something meaningful together. Our feelings may not have started the same, but I believe that we've grown to love each other in our way," I conclude, holding her gaze as I lay bare my heart. I notice a lack of visible pain in Blair's eyes, a stoic mask that mirrors my ability to conceal emotions. "So, you don't want to do it with me?" she questions, her tone sharp, accompanied by a piercing glare that challenges my response. "I'm not ready," I confess softly, my words barely above a whisper as I acknowledge the truth of my feelings. Despite the intensity of our connection, there are still barriers I'm not prepared to cross. "That's stupid. You're always ready when it comes to love. You'd do anything for love, so why is it you can't do it with me?" Blair's voice is laced with frustration as she snaps, pointing accusingly at herself. Or, are you just making excuses? She adds, her words cutting through the air like a knife. That's not true, I respond, my voice tinged with defensiveness. I'm not trying to make excuses, I just know that. This isn't about that woman, is it? Blair interrupts me, her words sending a jolt of adrenaline through my veins. I can feel my heart rate quicken at the mention of Dana. What are you talking about? I ask, attempting to mask the turmoil of emotions churning inside me. Stop pretending you don't know who the bitch in your life is. It's Dana, and you know what? I'm not finished with that woman. I'm going to make her life a living hell because that's just my hobby, Blair declares with a smirk, her satisfaction evident in her expression. Her words strike me like a blow, but I find myself unable to respond. There's a whirlwind of emotions swirling inside me, but I'm paralyzed by a sense of helplessness and disbelief. I don't want to acknowledge this darker side of her, yet there's a sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach that tells me there's truth to her words. Why? I whisper, my voice barely audible as I struggle to comprehend the depths of her animosity towards Dana. Dana is out of my life. She's nothing to me now. She has no value, and I don't know where She's the only woman in your life before me, Blair interrupts, her words slicing through the tension in the room with a sharpness that leaves me speechless. I was in love with you back then, Blair admits, her voice tinged with bitterness. I always wanted my father to pair us up, but he didn't do anything because you were said to be deeply in love with an Omega. Her accusations pierced through me like daggers, leaving me reeling with guilt and confusion. You did things with her that you didn't do with me, she continues, her voice rising with frustration. You said she was just a childhood lover, a puppy love, but why is it that your puppy love was more romantic than our supposedly matured relationship? She demands, shaking her head in disbelief. This is disgusting. I don't want to be part of a love triangle with an Omega. Blair's words hang heavily in the air, each one a painful reminder of the rift between us and the complexities of our past. Blair, I reach out to touch her hand, but she pushes me away with a force that takes me aback. What? Are you going to make excuses again? No, I interject firmly, shaking my head to emphasize my sincerity. I don't care about her or what you're going to do with her, I assure her, my voice steady despite the turmoil in my heart. But it's important for you to know that I was weak when I was with her, I continue, gently touching her cheeks in an attempt to soothe her. I was fragile, like a kid who hadn't experienced any love from his parents, but found solace in an Omega, I confess softly. I was exploring, trying to understand what love truly meant, and I realized that's not what it was. Love makes you more motivated, stronger, I murmur, my gaze drifting downward before meeting hers once more. And you made me that. You made me the man I am today. You changed me, and for that I'm grateful, I admit, baring my soul to her in a moment of vulnerability. As I look into her eyes, I see a mixture of emotions reflected on me, uncertain of what lies ahead, but hopeful for the future we'll forge together. I love you, I confess, my voice filled with sincerity, but I need some time before I can take that step with you. I want you to be happy, I add, hoping she'll understand the depth of my feelings. You know I've always wanted your happiness above all else, I whisper, my words a silent plea for understanding. She bites her lip, her expression unreadable as she listens to me. If you truly want me to be happy, then you'll let me do what I want to do with you, she insists, her tone determined. I swallow nervously, feeling the weight of her words sinking in. What is it? I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. Let me satisfy your body, she replies, her hand reaching out to touch my pants. I bite my lower lip, torn between conflicting emotions. In your service, I whisper, surrendering to her desires. Dana POV. Are you sure that? I'm sure, Dana, he interrupts, his tone leaving no room for doubt. We're alone in his chamber, the weight of the moment hanging heavy in the air. I gulp nervously, my mind racing with thoughts and doubts. I don't want Anna to know about this because she wouldn't approve of me following through with what the letter said. I stumble over my words, feeling foolish and uncertain. He gently grips my chin, his touch both reassuring and commanding. Don't worry about it, he whispers, his voice a soothing balm to my frazzled nerves. I'll handle it for you. I need to ensure that no one enters this pack other than its members, he assures me. I close my eyes, the warmth of his hand against my skin comforting me in ways I hadn't expected. Despite the uncertainty of the situation, I find solace in his presence, trusting him to protect me from whatever may come. What if someone in this pack hates me? I turn to face him, seeking reassurance in his eyes. Finally, he reaches out to touch the side of my face, his touch grounding me in the moment. Then they shall face me, he whispers, his voice firm with determination. I can't help but tease him, a hint of flirtation creeping into my tone. Who am I to receive protection from the alpha himself? I jest, a playful smile tugging at my lips. I hate it when people dare to hurt you, he admits, his expression softening with sincerity. No one has the right to hurt you, and I want to guarantee that, Dana, he adds, his voice gentle yet resolute. In his words, I find a sense of security and belonging, knowing that he'll always stand by my side, ready to defend me against any threat. I turn my back to him, the weight of my thoughts pressing heavily on my shoulders. I don't even feel comfortable anymore. I know people are judging me for no reason, just because they think something is off with me. I think we can find a solution, he interrupts, his voice breaking through the haze of my thoughts. I gulp nervously as I turn to face him, bracing myself for whatever he's about to suggest. What kind of solution is that? I question, my confusion evident in my voice as I wait for his explanation. Be my mate, be my Luna, who will lead the pack alongside me, and no one shall be able to harm you without facing consequences, he proposes, his words sending a surge of emotions coursing through me. My heart races, and I find myself stunned as I gaze at him. What? I utter, at a loss for words as I try to process his unexpected proposal. I want to marry you so I can protect you better, he continues, his voice filled with sincerity. But you have plenty of time to think about it. You don't need to pressure yourself. I want you to know me better than anyone else. I want you to be yourself, he adds, stepping closer to me. With a gentle touch, he tucks a stray strand of hair behind my ear, his proximity stirring something deep within me. You look beautiful even amid shock, he remarks, his smile warm as he withdraws his hand from me. I don't know what to say, I admit, my voice tinged with uncertainty. I'm just an Omega who's not capable of becoming your Luna, I continue, my words heavy with self-doubt. You know that you're better off marrying someone who has the same amount of power as you, I tell him, the weight of my insecurities weighing heavily on me. Because deep down, I know how much I yearn to be with Bathel. I don't want to settle for just being someone's girlfriend. I crave a deeper connection, to be bonded as mates destined to be together. I could never enter into a relationship with someone unless I'm certain about my feelings, he whispers, his lips brushing against my earlobe, sending shivers down my spine as I close my eyes in response. He meets my gaze once more. I want to take things slow, Dana. I want us to date and truly get to know each other. And when the time is right, I want you to be my mate, my Luna, he confesses earnestly. I can't stop thinking about you when you're not with me, he adds, his sincerity evident in every word. I place my hand on his shoulder, meeting his gaze with unwavering determination. You're not the only one who feels that way, I assure him. Bathel, I want you, and only you, I affirm, my heart swelling with newfound certainty. So, you're sure about me? He asks, a hint of uncertainty coloring his features as a blush spreads across his cheeks. Having you confess your feelings toward me feels surreal, Bathel, I admit, my voice soft with emotion. I've been hurt and betrayed in the past, but deep down I know that I want my second and final love to be with you. I confess, reaching out to touch his warm cheeks, relishing the contact between our skin. He kisses my palm tenderly, his actions filled with warmth and affection. My plans are ruined for tonight. Perhaps we can have our date tomorrow, and I'll need to have a brief meeting with my beta about some pack matters, he informs me, his willingness to keep me updated bringing a smile to my lips. I nod in agreement. Sounds good, I reply, feeling a sense of contentment settle over me as we make plans for the future together. So I'll be heading back to my room now, I inform him, reluctantly preparing to leave his presence. Dana POV. It was a short meeting with you, he remarks, his tone tinged with regret. I chuckle softly. Well, it was an important meeting you had with your beta, I tease, leaning in to peck a kiss on his lips with a smirk. A wide smile graces his lips as I begin to walk backward, keeping my gaze locked on his. "See you tomorrow, Alpha," I say with a smile, anticipation bubbling within me for our upcoming time together. "I can't wait for another day with you," he replies, his words filled with warmth and longing as I turn and make my way back to my room, already counting down the hours until our next encounter. Another day dawns, and surprisingly, I find myself feeling satisfied. Despite the mysterious events of yesterday, Bathel's presence has a way of easing my worries and leaving me feeling at peace. As I gaze at my reflection in the mirror, I take extra care to ensure that I look and smell my best for my next encounter with Bathel. "You're destined to be the Luna of the Sunflowers pack," Xia remarks, her voice filled with quiet confidence. I smile at her reflection in the mirror. "I have a lot to consider," I reply, my smile widening as I contemplate the weight of my potential role. "I understand. You don't just want to be a choice. You want to be the chosen one in every aspect of your life," she states, her words hitting home as I nod in agreement. "Yeah, that's right," I affirm, feeling a sense of determination and purpose settle over me as I prepare to face whatever challenges lie ahead. "I'm happy to see you gradually finding happiness, and I'm excited to have my next bonded wolf," Xia speaks, her tone filled with genuine joy. "You mean I'm slowly becoming my true self? I know this is the right choice, and it's a satisfying form of revenge," I chuckle lightly as I adjust my hair. "Are you sure you're not just doing this out of revenge against Blair and Aries?" Her question catches me off guard, leaving me momentarily speechless as I pause in my preparations. "Why would you think that?" I ask, my voice betraying a hint of defensiveness. "You know I have feelings for Bathel, it's undeniable. He's my chosen mate, and I'm determined to be his chosen mate as well. I'm not making decisions based on the people who made my life difficult. I know how to separate my desires from my plans," I assert, applying a coat of lipstick to my lips. "I know, I just want to be sure," Xia replies softly, her concern evident in her tone. With a snicker, I push Xia's concerns to the back of my mind and refocus on my reflection in the mirror. After a final adjustment, I take a deep breath and step out of my room, ready to face whatever the day may bring. I step out of the pack house and notice several people going about their activities outside. Among them I spot Anna engaged in conversation with a man who soon walks away. "Anna," I call out to her. She turns towards me with a smile. "Well, aren't you stunning today?" she remarks with a playful smirk. "Really?" I glance down, feeling a bit self-conscious. She giggles, her eyes twinkling with amusement. "You've always been beautiful, but I didn't realize you had a stylish side to you, beyond just training yourself," she comments, her tone teasing, and I join in her laughter. "Well, this is just one of those days," I said, but halted myself mid-sentence. "What's been going on?" I inquire, shifting the topic. Anna lets out a sigh of frustration. "My brother has decided to conduct a double check. He wants to ensure that there are no other trespassers in the pack and investigate any unusual occurrences," she explains. Although she may not have all the details, her tone suggests that something significant is happening. "Oh?" I murmur, feeling a sense of apprehension creeping in. Yes, many warriors are even pointing fingers at each other for the unusual incidents. The CCTV even got tampered with, as if someone knew exactly where it was. "It's all just very strange," Anna responds, her words echoing my concerns and heightening my unease. "Oh, I didn't expect that," I whisper in response to Anna's revelation. "You're not the only one left wondering. After so many years of success for our pack, it's unsettling to encounter such occurrences," she sighs, shaking her head in disbelief. I let out a soft sigh, ensuring it's quiet enough that Anna doesn't hear. "My day is ruined over something as simple as this dress," I murmur to myself. Anna chuckles. "Well, you don't need to worry. In my theory, whoever did this likely isn't from our pack. It could be someone from outside, hoping to see us fail. But they don't know what I have planned next," she says, her voice laced with determination. I understand what she meant by that, but I refrain from asking about her further plans. Anna is exceptionally clever, and I doubt I would fully comprehend her intentions anyway. Attempting to steer the conversation away from potentially sensitive topics, I inquire, "So, how's Divine?" Anna's expression softens as she replies, She's doing quite well. She's already taken on a role in training the other Omegas. I'm glad to hear that. I don't feel bad about that at all, I respond without hesitation. Her smirk widened, reflecting a mix of amusement and intrigue. It's reassuring to witness your ability to discern between your feelings and the appropriate actions to take. Dana POV. But I noticed that things changed between you and Bathel. My heart fluttered anxiously as she broached the topic of Bathel and me. Despite my efforts to sidestep the subject, it seemed she was intent on delving into it. I mustered a strained smile. What aspects are you referring to? I probed, attempting to maintain an air of nonchalance despite the unease creeping into my demeanor. Anna's expression shifted to one of solemnity, signaling the gravity of her next words. Could we perhaps have this conversation in private? The current setting doesn't feel conducive to discussing such matters, she proposed, her tone laden with implication. Feeling a pang of discomfort, I hesitantly acquiesced with a nod, feigning ignorance of the underlying implications of her request. We found ourselves nestled in the cozy confines of the Pax bar, with a refreshing glass of juice in hand courtesy of her. As we sat side by side, I couldn't help but notice her intense gaze fixed upon me. It's quite evident that my brother harbors a fondness for you, she remarked, her tone steady despite the weight of her words. I maintained my composure, offering a silent acknowledgement. I'm well aware, Anna. He's gone to great lengths to ensure your safety, she continued, her voice tinged with a hint of admiration. With a deep breath, she paused before revealing more. It's almost as if he's forgotten about his past flame, seeing as he never truly valued that relationship, she divulged, her words laden with a mixture of contemplation and realization. I gazed into her eyes, hoping she wouldn't detect the rapid thumping of my heart betraying my emotions. I've mentioned before that he sees you in a light far beyond just an Omega, she reminded me gently, her voice tinged with concern. He's accepted you completely for who you are. But lately, I can't shake this feeling of apprehension about what might have transpired between you two. You mentioned having talked with him, but... We have spoken, I interjected, cutting her off mid-sentence. Her eyes bore a mixture of confusion and apprehension, as if she were simultaneously afraid and curious about what had transpired during our conversation. Her observation didn't seem to surprise me in the least, as if I had been expecting her to comment on my calm demeanor. Are you aware of his feelings towards you? She inquired, her eagerness palpable as she awaited my response, her eyes betraying a sense of desperation. Yes, I affirmed, acknowledging the depth of his affection with a simple word. I could sense countless thoughts were swirling in her mind, words left unspoken, emotions simmering beneath the surface. You know, there are things I'd rather not. He likes me. I interrupted her. She gulped, and I could tell she was worried about me. So am I added, noting the multitude of emotions reflected in her eyes. I always feel something else for him, but I am not so sure if it's love because I don't even know what feels like to love someone. But he made me feel things I didn't feel for anyone else, not even Aries, I murmured, aware of how desperate I must seem. Really? She asked. I nodded in agreement, my mind swirling with uncertainty and longing. I'm not sure if you understand what I mean, but I truly desire to love him. I want him to accept me for who I am and to love me authentically. And I yearn for him to treat me with a different kind of care than what I experienced with Aries, I confessed, the words tumbling out in a rush as I struggled to articulate my feelings. I gasped, feeling breathless as I attempted to convey the depth of my emotions. Despite her being a supportive friend, I couldn't shake the fear that she might disapprove of the idea of me being with Bathel. This is a bit awkward, but... Bathel is not Aries, she interrupted, her voice closer now, infused with reassurance. Rest assured, my brother will never bring you harm, she reassured me with conviction, her voice carrying the weight of unwavering trust. I've witnessed his love for you blossom over time, and it's a love that knows no bounds. He's been captivated by you since the beginning, and his devotion only grows stronger with each passing day, never faltering until you arrive here. As she took a deep breath and ran her fingers through her hair, a sense of vulnerability crept into her demeanor. You may not realize it, but you're the one I've been silently rooting for all along, she confessed, her words laced with a hint of regret. The mention of alphas stirred an uneasy feeling within me, causing me to involuntarily gulp. Aries? I uttered his name, the bitterness evident in my voice. I'd rather not dwell on him anymore. Today my thoughts are solely occupied by Bathel. Whenever I'm in his presence, he has this remarkable ability to erase all the negativity from my mind with just a single glance. I know it may sound like I'm hopelessly infatuated, but I can't deny the possibility that I might be falling for him, perhaps even more deeply than he realizes. I confessed softly, my words trailing off into a murmured admission. If I allowed myself to go on, I could undoubtedly express more. Taking a deep breath, I involuntarily flinched when I heard a fake cough from behind me. My heart leaped into a frenzied rhythm as soon as I laid eyes on Bathel standing in the doorway, his presence instantly captivating me. Anna smirked knowingly, her voice barely audible as she mumbled, "Okay." Sensing my need for space, I added, "I'll take some time. You go ahead." With a nod, Anna departed, offering a reassuring pat on Bathel's shoulder before leaving us alone. Now all that remained was the intense gaze of Bathel, his eyes locked on mine with a mixture of concern and affection. As he continued to stare at me, a wave of reassurance washed over me. Despite the worries clouding my mind, I couldn't help but revel in the way he looked at me. I loved the way he stared at me. Dana POV. As he approached, I rose from my seat, the urgency of the moment propelling me forward as I initiated a fervent French kiss with him. In that desperate moment, his response was immediate, his lips meeting mine in a mutual exchange of passion. The sensation of his kiss was everything I had yearned for. As we parted, he gazed at me with admiration. "You look gorgeous," he remarked, his words stirring a warmth within me. "I can't possibly look both ugly and threatened at the same time," I quipped, a smile gracing my lips as he mirrored my expression. Seated beside each other, a sense of camaraderie settled between us. "Don't fret," he reassured me, his voice gentle yet firm. "I've conducted an investigation and confirmed that the individual responsible for that letter isn't from within our pack, based on handwriting analysis and other forensic methods. However, it's unsettling to consider that someone from outside may have orchestrated it for ulterior motives." His words sparked a twinge of apprehension within me, reminding me that danger could lurk beyond our immediate surroundings. "Oh," I began, but he gently squeezed my hand, silencing me with his touch. "I don't want you to go anywhere without me, Dana," he whispered. "Especially not alone, considering the clear threat to your safety." His words resonated with a protective concern that touched my heart, and I held onto his hand tightly, as if afraid to let go. "In your presence, I feel safe," I confessed, my voice barely above a whisper as I glanced down, overwhelmed by the comfort he provided. "I hate to see you unhappy," he murmured, his concern evident in his tone. "Should we go through with it today?" he asked, his gaze searching mine. "The date?" I clarified, meeting his eyes. "Yes," he affirmed with a nod. A smile tugged at my lips. "I've been waiting for you to say that," I admitted, my heart fluttering with anticipation. Bathel chauffeured us to an exclusive, high-class restaurant, its opulent ambiance evident from the moment we stepped inside. As we entered, I noticed that we were the only patrons present, surrounded instead by Omegas from the Sunflower Pack who were diligently attending to our needs. This establishment belonged to Bathel, and at that moment, it felt like we had the entire place to ourselves. Before I could even take in the luxurious surroundings, the tantalizing aroma of freshly prepared dishes wafted toward us, indicating that our food had already been served. With a gracious gesture, Bathel pulled out a chair for me, and I settled into my seat as he took his place opposite me. The table was adorned with an array of specialty dishes, each one a tantalizing temptation that I had yet to experience. "These look incredible!" I exclaimed, unable to contain my excitement as I surveyed the exquisite spread before me. "I only want the best for you," Bathel replied, his words infused with sincerity as he met my gaze with warmth and affection. With a contented smile, I took a sip of the juice before turning my attention to Bathel, who hadn't touched his food yet. His unwavering gaze on me sent a flutter of excitement through me, causing my heart to beat faster as if my wolf could sense the significance of the moment. "Shall we dig in?" I asked eagerly, my enthusiasm for sampling every dish evident in my voice. His intense stare only intensified, making me feel like the center of his universe. He chuckled, his laughter ringing out melodiously. "Indulge in whatever delights your palate, my dear. The chefs will cater to your every whim," he assured me, his eyes sparkling with adoration. "Just the sight of your radiant face is enough to satisfy me." I couldn't help but laugh at his charming words. "You have a way of making me feel truly special," I remarked, shaking my head in disbelief at his unwavering affection. "Do I need to do that?" Bathel asked, his voice tinged with curiosity as he observed me beginning to tackle the lobster shell. I glanced at him, puzzled by his question. "What do you mean?" I inquired, unsure of his intentions. "You're already special, and you should know that. I don't need to put on a show," he clarified, his sincerity shining through. A wide grin spread across my face in response to his words. "Well, you've certainly convinced me," I replied, my heart swelling with affection as I began to enjoy the delicious meal before us. As our laughter subsided, we found ourselves engrossed in conversation, delving into each other's pasts with an openness that felt liberating. "So you had an ex-girlfriend, right?" I ventured, curious to learn more about his romantic history. He nodded, setting down the bottle of water before replying, "Her name is Farah," he began, his tone tinged with a hint of nostalgia. "She was intended to be my Luna as part of a pack alliance, but I couldn't bring myself to be with someone I didn't genuinely care for. Eventually, she left and ended up marrying another alpha from a different pack. They've been attempting to ally with the Sunflower Pack. I want to be accepting of them, but I can't shake the distaste for the idea," he confessed, his words carrying a sense of inner conflict. Despite the complexity of the situation, I couldn't help but admire the sincerity and conviction with which he spoke. As Bathel spoke, his words washed over me like a soothing melody, captivating me with their sincerity and depth. I found myself entranced, hanging on to every word he uttered. "And you? It's just Aries," he murmured, his voice pulling me back to reality. The mention of Aries, the man I had once loved, sent a jolt of mixed emotions coursing through me. My heart raced in a tumultuous rhythm, a blend of trauma and nervous energy coursing through my veins like an adrenaline rush. "Yes," I replied softly, the pain of my past bubbling to the surface. "He was my first boyfriend, the first man I ever truly loved. I believed his promises of love, only to discover that I was merely a pawn in his narrative. I was left hurt and betrayed, waiting for him to return as he had promised." Dana POV. My voice faltered, tears threatening to spill over as I continued, only to learn that he had married someone else, the very woman responsible for the tragic loss of my parents. The weight of my words hung heavy in the air, and I struggled to maintain composure, fighting against the overwhelming tide of emotion threatening to consume me. "I hate it," I admitted with a heavy sigh, the bitterness of my past still lingering like a bitter aftertaste. It wasn't just the failed relationship between Aries and Blair that pained me now. It was the realization that the man I had once cherished had chosen to align himself with the very woman who had robbed me of my happiness, the woman responsible for my parents' tragic demise. Bathel's comforting touch on my hand brought me back to the present, his words a soothing balm to my wounded soul. "I'm sorry," he murmured, his empathy palpable. "You're a strong woman, Dana," he continued, his voice filled with admiration. "Despite the numerous times people have tried to knock you down, you always find the strength to rise again." His words resonated deeply within me, reminding me of my resilience in the face of adversity. "But I promise that I will never let you down again," Bathel mumbled, his voice tinged with determination. I nodded in acknowledgement, a small smile gracing my lips as I wiped away my tears with a tissue. Suddenly, he rose from his seat and moved to sit beside me. With a gentle touch, he wiped away my tears and cupped my cheeks in his hands. "You can cry to me, okay?" he whispered, his words a comforting reassurance. "I am willing to listen to the pain that you're holding," he added, his voice filled with sincerity. I continued to nod, feeling a sense of relief wash over me at his understanding and support. "Thank you," I murmured gratefully, offering him a watery smile. "It's okay," he replied, his gaze filled with warmth and compassion as he enveloped me in his comforting embrace. As we settled back into his car, a sense of contentment enveloped us, knowing that we had shared our stories. However, our peaceful moment was interrupted when Bathel dropped his wallet with a soft exclamation. "Oh," he whispered, bending down to retrieve it. But as he did, a cascade of credit cards spilled out along with a photograph. I picked up the picture, noting the genuine smile on Bathel's face as he stood next to a woman. "What a lovely picture," I remarked casually, but my curiosity got the better of me. "Is she Farah?" I asked, studying the woman in the photograph closely. Observing the photograph, I couldn't help but notice Farah's striking beauty. Her luscious brunette hair, captivating blue eyes, and flawless lips contrasted with Bathel's simple, genuine smile. "Yeah, it's her," Bathel confirmed with a nod. "You can throw it away. I don't need it anymore. I hardly ever check my wallet." I chuckled at his nonchalant attitude. "You have all those credit cards and money in there, and you barely even check them?" I asked, finding it hard to believe that he would be so casual about his finances. "Oh, I have nothing to use them for anymore. I feel like I already have everything I need, and I have other cards anyway," he explained, his words inadvertently highlighting the disparity between our financial statuses. "I should have just thrown them away." "No, it's fine," I interjected, forcing a smile as I set the picture beside me. Despite my attempt to suppress it, the pang of jealousy lingered, a reminder of the stark contrast between our circumstances. As Bathel spoke of Farah, I couldn't help but wonder about the impact her beauty might have had on their relationship. However, he remained silent on whether their relationship had been intimate. "My relationship with Farah is," Bathel began, trailing off as he met my gaze. "It doesn't show any love," he sighed, his expression weighted with regret. "It's more like a physical relationship." "Stop," I commanded abruptly, feeling a surge of discomfort and jealousy rising within me, my cheeks flushing crimson with emotion. Bathel, who was supposed to be driving, complied immediately, bringing the car to a halt. His hand found its way to my thighs, his touch both comforting and disconcerting, causing me to take a deep breath to steady myself. "I love this side of you." I met his gaze, my eyes reflecting a mix of curiosity and unease. "You never mentioned that she was your first in everything," I remarked quietly, my voice tinged with a hint of hurt. "I don't like her," Bathel admitted, his tone filled with remorse. "I was a jerk," he confessed, his words heavy with regret for his past actions. I licked my lips nervously and took a deep breath, determined to push aside the uncomfortable conversation. "I'm just going to forget about it," I began, but my words were abruptly cut off as Bathel's hand slid underneath my skirt, sending a jolt of electricity coursing through me. "Are you okay?" he asked, his concern evident in his voice. "Fuck yes," I breathed out, my inhibitions melting away in the heat of the moment. Turning to face him, I reached out and grabbed his necktie, pulling him closer until our lips met in a fierce, possessive kiss. At that moment, it felt like I owned every part of him, and nothing else mattered except the passion igniting between us. As our kiss deepened, a fierce hunger consumed me, fueled by the overwhelming desire to claim Bathel as my own. When we finally broke apart, I couldn't shake the lingering fear of losing him to someone else. "Do you prefer her kiss or mine?" I teased, a hint of insecurity lacing my words. Bathel's touch on my waist was reassuring as he replied, "I've forgotten about her. She's insignificant. But I can say with certainty that tasting your lips for the first time surpasses anything I've experienced before." "I belong to you, Dana," he declared, his words echoing with a sense of commitment and devotion. "Every part of me is yours." "And I want to belong to you," I replied, my heart swelling with a sense of belonging as I reciprocated his sentiment.